What is up, RotoGrinders? 5 o'clock on the East Coast, on the dot. Whatever, 5:02, close enough for rounding down. It is the start of 2+ hours of MLB DFS talk. Big boy slate, not messing around. 14-gamer. Joined today, I guess it's sunny in Chop's house. Not really sure what's going on. Sunny all around America, I think, right? It's Head Chopper. Chopper of heads, two-time millionaire winner. I guess you were doing the homage. How are things in your world? It's a Friday, Chop. You doing okay or what?
Oh, we're doing excellent, Dean, after that wonderful draft the Rockets had last night. I like it a lot. I'm excited about the future, and I got to bust out the shades today. Not only because the future's so bright, I got to wear shades for the Rockets, but also because I can actually do the show partially now with my eyes closed, so I don't have to look at your mustache.
You can just not watch the video stream. You can do that too. I mean, I don't really watch the video when I'm talking to you guys. So is that not an option for you? Like you feel like you
got to have the video screen up so I can mute myself if I need to, Dean. You see what I'm saying? I got to mute myself when I'm not talking.
What are you doing when you're not talking? Are you sneezing?
It's so hectic over here. I'm pulling up my spreadsheet. I'm typing away. I'm looking at the chat, doing the chat typing. Like I can be obnoxious. Gotta have the spread. I gotta have my pitch types. I gotta have my pitch types.
Dude, we got all we need with the BVP page. We're good.
Yeah,
I got that too. I gotta pull up my BVPs. There's just so much going on over here. And plus, the doorbell is gonna ring any minute now. I guarantee it.
You got a great idea.
My kids are coming back from the movies, and when they ring the doorbell, the dog's gonna go crazy, and it's just gonna be haywire. So I need to have the mute button handy.
Are they seeing that Buzz Lightyear? Was that the age group we're talking about?
Nope.
They're too old for that now?
Yeah. They're probably past the whole Toy Story phase. There's some I forget what it is. Some scary with the phone or something like that. Some scary movie. I don't know. They like that garbage.
Probably the Minnesota lineup just came out and no Buxton again. So
man.
If you guys are considering rostering Buxton, Arise, Correa, Kepler, Urshela, Kirilov, Miranda's DHing, Gordon, Jeffers, and Celestino. So Buxton cross him off the list. I buried the lead. Also joining us today is very 1%. What's up?
Let's stop this because there's no respect. This is another constant theme. You went right into tell people about Buxton without introducing me and saying hello to me.
I just said I buried the lead. I was giving you I was saying my bad. Like the lead is you. You were the lead.
Yeah. So give it to me.
Well, I was, but now I don't. Now I don't. I'm having second thoughts. The very well respected Turkeys, who once upon a time was an owner of a wrench. Then he wasn't an owner of a wrench, and now he is the owner of a wrench. You'll see him in the chat. He's wrench worthy. It's Kid Yahoo. It's Turkeys. What's going on, dude?
Yeah, well, thank you for the great lead.
I was trying to get there, and then
good to be here with you again. Good to be here with Chop. Chop. What might be nice. Take the hat off. Let's take the shades. Take the hat off. Let's make this a show.
You're trying to get me. Oh, are you finished? I forgot. I have a shout out. I have a shout out today.
You doing shout outs?
No, this is obviously
I have a special one.
No,
I have a special one. I have a buddy of mine has a birthday today. I was going to give him a shout out. I don't know what he want me to, I want to be polite.
Go ahead.
Oh, I thought I was waiting for Kirk to finish his intro.
Are you done, Kirk? Is the platform now on the...
I don't want to disrespect you, man.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Chop. It's why don't you wish a happy birthday to your good friend?
I have a good friend out there. He's not able to actually listen to the show right now because he's on the road traveling. But I told him I'd give him a shout out on the show. His name is Zazzy. He goes by Zazzy. He has a birthday today, and he's traveling to the Shore House. And he's 31.
Is Zazzy gonna watch the replay, and you're gonna give him a heads up, or how? I mean, is this never even gonna be?
He's not big in a DFS.
So what's the point? Like you can just tell him you gave him a shout out, and you're like, "Hey."
I said I'd do it, so I got to do it.
He's a certified loser.
Oh, come on. That's below the belt.
Kid has never seen a 1099 in his life.
Oh, that's below the belt.
Was he somebody in the old Discord that you used to be in?
Yes, he's the reason why I left.
He was the guy. Okay. I thought it was somebody else, but The one that was he the one actively rooting against you?
Yes.
Oh man. All right. Well, maybe he should watch the show, Turkeys, and then he can see himself at 1099.
I mean, he chops in there. I mean, the only time he's ever won is when he has a piece of chop or something.
Oh, there you go.
You know.
Chop, what did you start? Are you in the middle of these two all the time?
No, Kirk left the toxicity. He left it behind. He's living a better life
and
now.
Man, I've been printing. Like, you know, it's
yeah,
like
man.
I can't go back now.
We got it. He'll be back in there soon. As soon as all the basketball talk dies down. The draft brought it all up again last night. We don't want to rehash.
Oh, thank God I missed that.
Yeah. I did not watch 1 second of it. I don't know. What did I miss, Chop? Give me like the 30-second minute rundown.
You know who I do miss? I do miss TTO, and I'm sure he had a hell with all these Kyrie leaving and Durant potentially leaving rumors. He must be really buzzing in there.
Yeah, he's a little on edge, but crux of it, the Rockets had a really good draft. Oklahoma City smashed. They got a ton of picks. Detroit did well. And who am I missing here? Who else? I mean, those are probably the better drafts right there. Detroit. Somehow the Knicks, I don't know what they did or how they botched it up, but the Knicks somehow didn't. They had the guy they wanted, and they traded him away. They ended up getting no picks this year, even though they had a couple of really good players. They got no picks this year because all just to dump Kemba's contract. Like they had to give away their pick.
And then they're trying to make a run at Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that's
like who's like he's not a difference. I mean, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. Jalen Brunson is a good NBA player. Great college player. He's a winner, right? But like, I mean, he's not going to change this franchise. Right?
Yeah, it's a Knicks had the worst draft for sure.
I saw Stephen A. was very upset. I did catch that on the Twitter. Apparently, he said he's boycotting. He's not going to be going to the Garden at all season long. We'll see how that goes down. But he was very upset. I guess he's a Knicks fan. I assume that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know where did Kemba land. What team is he on now?
Well, he went to didn't he go to Detroit or something? But he's going to get bought out. I think he went to either Detroit or Charlotte or something. But he's going to get bought out. So. He's not going to be there very long. But the whole point is you sign such a bad contract. They actually have to give away a guy who they really wanted, Jalen Duran, just to take the Kemba contract.
Do you want to say what's up to the chat? Naked HD in chat is saying, "Where's my shout out?" There it is.
Yeah, we got to get Naked HD a wrench. Can we get Naked HD a wrench?
Well, now we're just giving it to anybody. We gave it to Kirk. Anybody's wrench worthy these days, I suppose. Just handing them out. I don't know what the qualifications are, but sure.
Well, maybe let's give Naked HD a hammer.
There you go. And there's Hammer in chat as well, too. TJ lurking as well. I got roped into buying something for TJ's on his, what is it called? The wedding registry. Got roped into that. I bought him, Blender bought him poop bags yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw that. He had poop bags on his wedding registry.
Hold on. I want to stop that because I want to understand how this all came about. Did he like invite you guys to the wedding, like send you official invitations?
No, it was no. I mean, there's no chance I'm going to set that.
This kid is a grifter, man. I can't take it. So not only is he put us on the spot for the show to buy him a Spidey Man tattoo, which I'll do. I think that's funny and everything. But you know he wants it, and so he's getting us to pay for the tattoo.
No, he's never got a tattoo in his entire life. He's like 28.
It's probably been on his mind for a while, if I had to guess. And then
the long con.
and then he's getting everybody on the registry to buy it. So I have a registry. You know, I have a baby on the way next month. My girl has we have a big party going on, and
am I invited?
My girl gets but you're not going to come. It's basically she made it's like a baby shower. But it's like not, she's like hiding behind it. It's an event. It's a party and it's for both of us. So I have to go and be a part of this. And, but it's essentially a baby shower. I hope she's not back yet. But She gets so excited when someone buys something off the registry. She's like, "Oh my god, they just bought this!" It's like Christmas every day for her. So that's nice. So you guys should get her something.
How does the registry thing work?
You just said you're a big hypocrite. You just said doesn't count if you drop it on YouTube. You want an official, like you want to be able to.
No, I was just curious, like how this came about. Like, it never dawned on me to hit up my coworkers. You know, like
send me the link. Send me the link to the registry. Send me the link to the registry. I'd like to get in on this.
Yeah, Chop, are you going to the wedding or the
which wedding?
Anyway,
you know what, Dean? Oh. You want to know something crazy?
Yeah,
I'm not going to the wedding. I don't know who you were talking about, but I'm not going to the wedding because I wasn't invited. But
I wasn't either.
I have never been to a wedding besides my own in my entire life.
What?
Even at the strip club when you were working there?
Never got invited. Never.
A lot of bachelor parties and no weddings.
Never
no weddings. A lot of divorces.
What? How is that possible? How have you never been? You have a group of friends, right? People like
I do have friends, and a lot of them.
Yeah. What about racist Henry married?
He's married, but I wouldn't consider him like a good friend. He's just a fantasy football league guy, that I've known.
Good to keep your distance. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. So no, I just never been like.
Do you not want to go? Have you been invited?
I don't want to go. I really don't want to. My own wedding was enough. That was enough.
I've got a serious. So let's hash this out. Would you be my best man at my?
No, I would not. I get your stuff off the registry. Send me the link. But
that's it. That's all she wrote.
I'm probably not gonna be able to make a wedding.
So here's a funny story. So Chop, we both won the Yahoo Vegas trips last season.
Jesus.
And I was like, the time was running out. We had to like send them the information, and the thing is, they're going to tax you if you go through with it. So I was like, should I do this? We had COVID going, and Chop was like, yeah, you got. He was talking about how he was going to do it too, and it'd be a nice vacation, and we'll meet up out there and everything. And I send mine in, and lo and behold, I asked Chop, so did you do it? And he's like, nah, I'm not going to do it.
You left you hanging.
Left me completely hanging.
Read the fine words. Read the fine print. It seemed like a scam, so I backed off. I was like, no.
You didn't share the fine print with Curtis?
He was nowhere to be found. He already did it. He's like, he jumped the gun on it.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, you got to pay the taxes. What is it, like, I don't know, 20, 30% or something like that? Basically, you're going to get discounted vacation, more or less. Is that what's happening?
It's a discounted vacation.
He is kind of right. It is. So it's a good marketing ploy for them, but you do get 5,000 credit at an MGM facilities. But so basically what happened is I couldn't spend the money. So I went out for a $2,500 dinner the last night with Grant tagged along. And
oh, what a moocher.
So basically I got taxed to spend money on Grant, and somehow.
Speaking, it comes full circle because I'll be at Grant's wedding in about 2 weeks or so. So how about that?
Yeah, he didn't invite me. I'm upset he didn't invite me.
Would you have gone?
Yes.
Oh, I just want the invite. Respect me, and then let me politely say no. You know what I mean? If I don't want to, but I just can't. Chop, how many weddings have you refused to go to? Like said, no thanks, I can't make it for X reason.
Probably none. Probably, I don't think I've ever been officially invited to one. So,
I think maybe you signed up on the blacklist. You were like, everyone knows not to invite you.
Maybe that's it.
It's actually great to never be invited to a wedding. To be honest with you, like wedding, you got to get wedding gifts. It's never like a good. Yeah, I don't know. It's never like something you want to do. It's like you got to do it.
And Turkeys, I guess I got that wrong. You're not officially married. Are you married, or you're going?
No, we are, but we aren't. We aren't technically. So she's got the ring. That's all she really wanted. We've been talking about doing it. We were going to do it in Vegas, and then we just never got never got around to it. But I don't know. Well, any day we'll do something. But it's going to be like, well, we're going to do it on our own. We're not going to have like a wedding.
Well, then you can't complain that you're not getting gifts. Like this is, there's a certain step.
The registry for having a baby. This is a different scenario.
That's whatever. I'll buy.
I got
Funko Pop. Do you have Funko Pops also on your list?
I don't know what she has on the list. I've never looked at it.
We'll talk to the baseball slate. Obviously, it's we're still here for almost 2 hours. But we will be by the Crunch Time crew. Y'all get to Dave Potts, 2-time millionaire winner. You get Derek Carty, CEO of the Bats, double barrel as far as analyst, awesome analyst. coming in about an hour and 10 minutes. So again, plenty of time to knock this all out. And you got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth manning the ship, telling you what's going on weather-wise, some potential pop-ups last I saw. All right, let's dig in. Let's talk about this slate. And Turkeys, give me the screenshot as far as the slate, because I don't think it's there's nothing spectacular. We have like 3-4 really good pitchers, depending on where your cutoff may or may not be. Two of the best going against each other against two of the better offenses. So like, I don't really know what to do with that game. Verlander versus Severino, and you got Nola, in a positive matchup against the Padres, obviously without two of their best hitters there. And then, I don't know, Manoah. Springs is getting crazy ownership according to our projection right now, which it seems a little too high, for he's fine. The matchup's fine, obviously. And then as far as hitting, like there's no amazing hitting spot. Tell me if you see it otherwise. Where are you at as far as this slate?
Yeah, so this slate is kind of bananas is the way I look at it. It's like, because it's like you can do whatever. You can do a lot of different stuff, and there isn't one obvious way at all. Like you said, there's nothing insanely chalky. I don't think we're going to see extreme chalk. I think Aaron Nola will be chalky. I think Springs will be chalky. Springs is the Bat's highest projected pitcher, not point per dollar, just highest overall raw points, which seems a little crazy. But again, it's the matchup against Pitt, who strikes out a ton, especially versus left-handers, which he is. So they're third in K percentage. Also, it's not an offense to really be that scared of. I know you've been drooling over O'Neal Cruz,
sure,
until he busted as chalk the other night. But
one game sample, he's a bust.
Yeah. But anyway, this is an offense to attack. This is 28th in WRC plus, good strikeout magic plus. These Tampa guys tend to pitch really well in. It's a great ballpark for them. And so I expect him to have a really good performance. I like that. There's other awesome arms, but there's other awesome arms that are also in tough matchups. I like Manoah. I'll always like Manoah. I know his strikeout stuff is down a little bit, but it's in him to have a big strikeout game. This is a matchup that could happen. The Brewers are 8th in K percentage. However, the Brewers also bring a lot of offense to the table. They're 5th in ISO. So there's a lot of risk there. And then obviously we got Severino and Verlander facing each other. Two great pitchers, two great offenses, right? Especially, the Yankees, both of them are great, all their metrics. So, yeah, but there's a lot of other ways we can go here. So, Kopech is on the slate. Mackenzie Gore could have a good start. We'll get into other guys, like if we want to take a shot at potentially hoping that Alex Cobb gets a good number of pitches, which he may not. Marquez, we would be salivating to play Marquez a couple of years ago, but he's really fallen off. But he's cheap. Like there's like cheap places to go, but there's no. I guess for offenses, there's no like I have to play this Coors game or whatever like that. There's some good spots, like you said, but there's a lot of ways to go here.
So, well, you mentioned Pittsburgh's lineup. I think it's just worth pointing out. Like, let's stretch it back to last year. Versus lefties, right? And there's 6 lefties in this lineup. 6 lefties versus Springs, who actually hasn't shown a huge split left on right. He's actually been better versus righties than versus lefties in his small sample. But 6 lefties, they strike out at 30.4% collectively versus left-handers dating back to last season. Some of these samples aren't huge, but like nobody strikes out less than 21.5%. And again, it's really rare that you see 6 L's versus the L. Like that is odd. It's an odd looking lineup. And of course the ballpark's really friendly as well. And Springs is not a guy that's going to go 100 pitches, but maybe he does just well enough in his 85 to 90, whatever he's allotted. And you get a bit of a discount as well too. On FanDuel, you want that quality start. You're kind of begging for 6. He's probably not going to go beyond 6, but in theory, you should get between 5 and 6, something like that. But it is kind of weird to see him, at least according to our numbers, and this stuff may change. 39.1% Turkeys as far as DK. You got a roster 2, obviously. He's 8.5 over there. And like the obvious pairing right now is Nola and Springs. Man, that is a big number for Springs. 39%. Your thoughts on that? And I'm going to pull up FanDuel. Of course, it's going to be less than that, probably around 20 or so, maybe a little bit less than that. 20 is our projection on FanDuel, where he's 8.3. Is that good chalk? Because again, the matchup obviously is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to do well. I think it's the perfect spot for him. So he kind of had a bad start against Baltimore, and did in his last one didn't really pan out too well. Now, again, that was in Baltimore. You know, I'm sure it was. I don't remember specifically, but I bet you it had some nice hitting weather going on over there. Did have 6 strikeouts. His changeup numbers were off. His slider numbers were off. I think he just chalked it up to a tough day. He's got the full arsenal of pitches. He's a strikeout guy. He can definitely get a bunch of strikeouts. And again, it's Pitt, and he's at home. So I think he's going to do well.
Producer Steve in the chat saying, "Where's my wrench?" Steve's not wrench worthy. He's the guy that gave you the wrench. He can't give himself a wrench. Wow. I imagine you can make that happen.
That's the selfless act from him to give the wrench but not have himself. Must have hurt him a little bit.
We hit the wrench quota, and he's like, "Here, you can have. If you'll shut up, if you'll stop complaining about it, you can have mine."
Well, I want to know how we lost it.
I don't know.
I want to know who specifically.
We should have an investigation for sure.
So I can swat them, or something. Have you watched that on Netflix? That show there's a show about swatting.
No, is that a
it's
term?
Like it's a show about, I don't know, one of their new latest shows. I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's like episodes, But one of them, one of the first ones is about swatting. It's pretty cool. It's not cool, but it's interesting to watch.
Yeah. I will explore that. I'm not aware of it though. TJ's just dropping it. Did TJ's article come out today? I know he writes it a couple times a week. There it is in fantasy. Feel free to check that out. Some free content. TJ's Agents of Fantasy, Heroes Who Can Take Down an MLB Tournament today. Check out that link. Chop, let me bring you in as far as pitchers. We mentioned a whole bunch. Well, let's just get that. Are you playing Fanduel exclusively? What's the story? What are you doing? 150 and Fanduel?
No, I play a little bit of both tonight. It's a nice 14 gamer. I'm gonna try to do both, even though we got the show here. It's gonna be tough, but I play on both. The multi-entry on both. Lots of entries on both. Yeah, both sides.
Yeah. So talk to me how you see pitchers tonight. The 2 best pitchers. Let's just knock that one out. Like, what are you doing with Verlander versus Severino? Of course, they both have the potential upside to be the top pitcher in the slate, but they're both facing tough offenses, one of which is your favorite team. What are we doing with that?
I think that it's tough. That's a tough one, Dean. Because I was watching the game last night, and the ball's flying out of Yankee Stadium. And those pitchers weren't bad at all. They weren't bad at all. And then two decent bullpens, and yet there's home run after home run after home run, 4 home runs altogether. Ball's flying out. And even the balls that didn't leave the yard were going to the warning track. So if it's anything like that, again, it's going to be tough because a guy like Verlander is always going to be prone to give up some home runs. And then the Severino and the Astros offense is kind of starting to get some things going now. So it's tough to play these guys. Yet you look at their numbers, it's tough to stack against them. I don't really know. I don't think they're going to make my top 5, but I'm not going to eliminate them from my player pool. Let's put it like that. I think there's 4 or 5 guys better than them tonight. If things, if that weather in New York holds up and we get some balls flying out of the yard. I think there's 4 or 5 better pitchers, but I can't eliminate them from the pool. They're both just so good. I don't know.
Who are those 4 or 5? I assume Nola's one of them.
Yeah, Nola looks pretty good. Springs, we talked about him. I have some interest in Merrill Kelly tonight. So I got that guy on the list. And then for me personally, a wild card, but a guy that I like a lot tonight is Alex Manoah against Milwaukee. So those are 4 guys right there I put above both of those New York pitchers.
The Kelly thing, I imagine, is mostly matchup, right? Facing Detroit.
Yeah, I told you the dog was going to go crazy. I don't know if you but it's a really good matchup. I think tonight. I'm not really worried about. I mean, I don't know which side values the wins more, but he's got. With the bullpen coming in behind him, that's pretty terrible. So they'll probably blow his win if he's got to win. But, yeah, it's a good matchup tonight, and I can get behind that. Now, who's Minnesota? Oh, Marquez is bad, so I can't play Marquez. But no Buxton in there, and I actually had highlighted Trevor Larnach too. So, and I think he's out of that lineup too. So
he is.
It's a real big downgrade for Minnesota, but I still don't think you could play Marquez anyway, so that's not really an issue. But, yeah, Kelly's basically a matchup driven thing here.
If you have one lineup, I saw somebody ask this, Chop, single entry, one lineup on FanDuel. Ideally, who is your pitcher? Everything considered.
Man, let me see here. The ownership on FanDuel, if it's FanDuel, those guys are pretty close. It's probably going to be Springs. There's some upside there, and it's probably going to be Springs because the ownership on FanDuel isn't very. There's not a gap there with him and Nola. Nola's pretty close second to me, but that Pittsburgh lineup, although I like the youth and I like the activity that they've got going on, they're trending upwards. They're still young. It's going to strike out a lot, man. And I think Springs can really have a really good performance here today. He's got a pretty, when he's on his game, strikes out a lot. His changeup is, man, super. The swinging strike rate on his changeup is pretty massive, and he's got that rolling. He's going to roll through this lineup for these guys. 6
lefties he's facing, by the way. We have some fire emojis as well. It's expected to be hot in Atlanta today. No surprise, obviously. Minnesota's got the fire emoji, 90-degree temperature. Fire emoji, according to the Ross Weather Edge tool in Kansas City. 87 degrees there. St. Louis, again, some of these are bad ballparks as is, but they are getting a bump with the old fire emoji. St. Louis as well. Is that the last one? I believe that's the last one. Yeah. I didn't ask you that one specifically, Kirk D's, like your official stance, like how you handling that Houston Yankee game. And I kind of agree with Chopper. My first pitcher is likely not to be Severino or Verlander, but if I was hypothetically playing 20 lineups, they probably both at least land on one.
Yeah, and it's humid. The dew point model doesn't like it so much, that environment for the pitching side. But, these are two team aces. And, when you get the ace versus the ace, they usually feed off of that. And, you can expect a tight game. The spread's pretty low. The Astros only have 4.1 implied run team total. Severino would be my guy because we've seen more of the strikeout stuff from him, and he's back. And Verlander's been kind of a bit of a different pitcher this season. So I just don't want to pay 10-6 either. So I would take Verlander. I would take Severino for sure. He'll be in my pool tonight. I may end up using him. And but I probably won't get to Verlander. But if I'm maxing, which I might max this freaking $5 thing on DK for fun, and I'll probably have some of everybody.
Fanduel's got like a $3 one today, or like a $3.33. I don't know if you're into that kind of thing, but they changed some of their price points today, it looks like. But what's the $5 one? The knuckleball? Is that what we're looking at?
Micro knuckleball, $250K, $50K to first.
Yeah, and they got rid of some of their other. I feel like something else was replaced today, and I can't play. Kirk D's, we need to have this conversation. I can't play the batter's eye because 50K of 150K goes to first. Like I can't do it. I can't bring myself to play that. Are you playing that? I guess we have a similar stance on that one, right?
No, I'm a man of integrity, so I cannot support something that I don't support like that.
Do see a couple things going on in chat. We want to say hit that like button as always to encourage that. Keeps the proverbial lights on. We appreciate it. Also subscribe, turn on those notifications. You were just knocking TJ. Maybe you guilted TJ into this, but I don't know how this is going to go down. But he said if we hit 100 likes and naked, now he's adding the qualifier. He said I'll give away a Funko or a comic if we hit 100 likes and Naked HD gets a Reds. Like that's not going to happen. Oh, I fell for this one. TJ, like we're not
classic grifting strategy right there.
I got roped. He rope-a-doped me. I thought for sure. That was nice of TJ.
Chop smelled that from a mile away, didn't you?
He's gonna give away the gift you just bought him off the registry, Dean.
He's regifting it. I'm gonna regift those DraftKings glasses I got in the mail. That's what I'm giving Grant for his wedding. Also, this one actually is legit. This is a real giveaway. Producer Devin's hanging out, and we're going to give away 2 1-week free memberships to RotoGrinders Premium. How would I go about getting that? How do I get that? You just hit the little party popper bell in the RotoGrinders Discord. Where is that? RotoGrinders Discord. Hold on. Now I forget. I haven't said this one in a while. We'll go ahead and drop the link in chat, but it's rotogrinders.com/Discord. And then there are several rooms. Some are free, some are premium. You go to the live stream chat room. That is for anybody. Anybody can hang out there as long as you have a regular RG account. Doesn't need to be a paid account. Just hit that party popper bell. 2 people will be drawn at random throughout at some point later on in the show. You'll know within like a half hour or 45 minutes. Devin will let you know. You're going to get 1 week free of RG Premium. You get all the tools, all the bells, all the whistles, not just baseball, football, baseball, basketball, all the sports, everything with the exception of NASCAR. You get yourself 1 week free. Feel free to check that out. Other pitchers, I'm trying to see what else the chat has. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Devin's actually proud of me. I got Party Popper correct for once. I never remember that term. Who have we missed? Who is worth talking about pitching-wise? Gore, we've kind of mentioned in passing. What's your stance as far as Mackenzie Gore? What do you have, Curtis, as far as Gore today?
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's the Phillies got to Musgrove last night, as we all saw. So this is an offense that, could give him some problems. But at the same time, I mean, he's been pretty decent this season. The last 2 starts haven't been that good, but one of them was at Coors. I don't have any like ringing endorsement for him. I just think he's fine. So I think he should be part of your pool, but I'm not going to go out of my way to do him. I mean, there's just too many. I'd rather take more upside with like Michael Kopech against the O's.
Do we expect a full allotment of pitches out of him? I think he threw like 75 last time.
Yeah, no, I don't. But I think there's room for more, certainly. So, and with the K stuff, I'd take him.
Chop, I think Gore is a little bit more appealing on FanDuel, where he's 8K as opposed to 9-1 on DK. Would you agree with that?
Well, yeah, except for the fact that you need that extra pitcher on DraftKings, so kind of you don't really need it on FanDuel, and it could be a waste of a spot. I mean, Philly's just been one of those offenses all year long that you can play your pitcher against them, and you could end up with a GPP winning performance, or your pitcher can get run out of there in the 4th inning because they start to crack home runs. It's tough. It's tough for me. On a night like tonight, just one pitcher on FanDuel. I don't think Mackenzie Gore is going to be too high on my list, but I do get it, though, that he's a good, young, talented pitcher. But I'm in the same boat with Kopech. I think he looked really good his last start. He came back from the injury scare, and he looked sharp. So, yeah, now you're playing Baltimore, and Baltimore is not a great offense. I'm on the Kopech train here, more so than Mackenzie Gore.
Yeah, Kopech just, obviously you can get wild sometimes. This season his walk rate is over 11%, which is somewhat troublesome. Facing a Baltimore team that's mostly not terribly patient, right? Mancini, Santander, and Nevin, 9-10% as far as walking, but 6.5% collectively is not a very scary number. And of course, his Ks are pretty good, almost at 25% this year. And it's kind of backloaded that lineup as far as Ks, but 23.1% collectively as far as striking out. I saw Lorenzen, a name thrown out in chat. I can't see myself getting there. I'm not running 150. Curtis, are you going to give a thumbs up to Lorenzen? I don't think so.
No. I would be more interested in the Mariners tonight to play the offense on this game.
And the other point that's worth mentioning, I was talking about Gore on FanDuel at AK. FanDuel prices and DK prices, it's totally different build. FanDuel is really easy to have Nola and have good hitters. Like, it's not hard. It's especially like the Dodgers are super, super cheap, in Atlanta today versus Anderson. It's not like an amazing matchup, but of course it's a nice ballpark bump, and just all the Dodgers, basically, the exception of Turner and Freeman, are super cheap. I made 2 shell lineups before the show, 2 4-man Dodger stacks, and with Nola, and pretty easily. And, I got several big bats, and we'll be talking about that obviously soon enough. Anything else going on the chat that we kind of, okay. So Garcia on DK, Curtis, because DK is a little bit tighter as far as the build. Who's your favorite cheap pitcher on DK? Garcia is 5'6", and he could be usable to open up some salary. I think Kelly's probably my favorite at 7'9". Obviously, big difference to some degree. It's an extra bat or two, but my brain tends to gravitate toward I want to get 2 good pitchers. If you're going to get a cheapie on DK, is it Garcia? Do you think that's necessary?
I don't. Well, it kind of is necessary for some builds. Like it's like if you're not going to be able to make a decent lineup really if you take like say you want to play like Trout and Ohtani and Ward and Jared Walsh on the Angels or something like that. And then, you put Springs and Nola, you can't really fill out the rest of your lineup too well. So you are going to need someone a little lower to kind of get those kind of builds with the higher priced bats. I don't know. Garcia is a complete wild card. So like, I don't think he's going to be very good. It's a good matchup against the Diamondbacks. Sure. His numbers from a strikeout perspective don't look bad, right? Like he's coming in with a 27% K percentage, but this is a very extremely short sample. And he's not someone that I trust too much. He gives up a ton of fly balls. I'd be more interested in going against him here, but I think if you do, he is the guy out of all the cheapies that if I do need a cheap one, he's going to be the one.
Yeah, 26% K rate dating back to last season. Walk rate pretty good too. Obviously not a huge sample either. The roof's got to be closed there today, right? It's scorching in Arizona, is it not? Like they're closing the roof, I imagine. We know
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah. Chop, you have a thought as far as Garcia or like a favorite cheapie if forced to roster one based upon a certain build?
Garcia, he stinks, man. I ain't playing Garcia. I'm on the same boat where actually when we get to the hitters, there's a couple hitters I like from Arizona a lot more than I would ever want to play him. The cheapest guy I have in my player pool right now on DraftKings at pitcher is Dylan Bundy.
Okay. Yeah. I saw somebody asking about it. I'm glad you brought him up. Tell us about Bundy.
Yeah. So, it's the matchup. Like he had a pretty good start last time out. He went 8 innings. So maybe he's turning around, but I look at the Colorado lineup when they're away from Coors, and it's just something I want to, attack. There's just not very many solid hitters in there. I don't believe in. And in addition to that, if we believe in Roth's weather edge, then maybe we can take some of that home run susceptibility from Bundy out of the window because it's getting one of the better pitcher marks in there for weather.
Well, wait, I thought there was a fire emoji there, Chop.
This is why the people need my patent pending dew point system. See, Chop fell for it. He saw the minus 25% in the home run column, right? Is that
that's on Chop though? That's not Rob's fault. That's on Chop. You can't decipher.
That's based on 9 games.
I love it. I need those 9 games.
I know that's a good BVP sample. I guess that is the great BVP sample. But however, then you look at the temperature, 89 degrees, humidity north of 50 at 54 degrees. So this game, this is a great spot for offense tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't say great, and not because of the weather. The weather is just like the BVP. I'm not going to make a decision strictly based on it, but I like to it's like sprinkles on top of a little cake. I like to sprinkle a little on the cake.
BVW.
Are you from sprinkles, Chop?
But no, not really. But Dylan Bundy, he went 8 innings, 7 Ks last time out on the road. Now he gets an offense that I'm looking at. Like who's the good hitter in this offense? Is Charlie Blackmon still the best hitter? He's the number 3 guy. CJ Cron? I'd rather attack Cron.
There's some BVP there.
Yeah, but I'd rather have Cron against a lefty. And there's some BVP, but I can get behind the other side of that this week. I just don't think there's the bottom of the lineup is a mess. There's several guys in there who theoretically should strike out a lot. They have. So I don't know, man. I just Dylan Bundy, the weather was just something that kind of pushed it over the edge. But Dylan Bundy is the cheapest guy I have in my player pool on DraftKings.
We've guilted TJ into actually giving something away. No qualifiers outside of a certain number of likes. 100 likes, he'll drop his Spidey bomb in chat. And he said he'll actually give something away at 150. He's game for it. If Devin or Steve, one of our producers, picks the winner, he can actually get it chipped out. And that's international too. That's going really far. He's in Saskatoon, unless somebody wins it that's next door, which seems unlikely. If you're in Saskatoon, hit 1 in the chat. So there you go. We get the 150 likes. TJ will talk. He was talking about possibly a comic or a Funko Pop. There you go. Other names in chat that are being thrown out there. Yeah, Dunning, Hauser, Curtis, stop me when you like one of these. I like Dunning as a general prospect, but I don't know if he's getting there for me today. Those guys do anything for you?
No. I think we've somehow got to the point where we overrate Dunning. I don't think he's very good, but no, I don't have. So for pitcher, it's just easy for me. So tonight you got Springs, we've got Nola, we've got Kopech if we want to get a little funky. We got Severino and I love Manoah. Now then, if we want to go cheaper, we got Merrill Kelly, who's against Detroit. That's a great matchup. He should be fine. It should be efficient at least. And then we can go down to Garcia, but or Chop still in Bundy. I'm not going anywhere near Bundy. But I think Bundy's going to get smashed tonight, but I get the play and I respect Chop because he's won $1 million twice. And so you got to respect that. And so I'm just on the other side of that. But, we haven't talked about the Cy Young candidate, Nick Pavetta.
Is he a Cy? I guess they're all theoretically Cy Young candidates, right? Everybody throwing baseballs. In theory, he's like in the pool. But tell me why Pavetta is like a good play tonight.
I mean, have you seen what this guy's been doing? He's the hottest pitcher in baseball.
Okay.
Let's go through his let's see him. And he's going to be extremely low owned tonight. And let's just game log watch here for a minute. Let's 33 fantasy points against the St. Louis Cardinals. Kind of a rough one. He didn't take seriously against Oakland, only 23. He had a 30 Yeah, he was feeling himself a little bit in that start. And he even talked about it. He didn't prepare it well enough because it's Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this guy struck out 8 and had a 9-inning game. He pitched against the Astros and looked amazing against Chop's Astros. I mean, this guy has just done nothing but get it done. The lowest he's been is at 17 points in this stretch, and nobody's going to play him tonight. The K stuff has been there. This is a guy who's got talent, who's got the repertoire, has never actually put everything together, but he looks like a different pitcher this season.
The obvious retort is look at Cleveland's lineup. Quan leading off versus righties this year, 163 plate appearances, 5% striking out, 5.5. You want to get all technical. Rosario, 15%. J-Ram, 8.8. Quan and Ramirez also willing to take a walk. Pavetta will walk you too. Then there's Josh Naylor from Mississauga, 10.4% as far as his Ks. Gonzalez, 17%. They just don't strike out a lot. Of course, Franmel's in there. He only gets so many plate appearances. He'll strike out a couple times, might hit a homer. Jimenez and Hedges will okay too, but it's just such a contact-heavy lineup. And it's front-loaded too with all that contact, that's kind of what's throwing me off. But I hear you. He's been good.
He's averaged less than 2 walks a game over this nine game stretch.
By the way, you see the chat? Look who made an appearance in chat
shout out to our sponsors, Naked HD, cheaper, fast. I mean, they're doing it all.
It's cheaper than free. Isn't Tinder free? Am I wrong to say? I think it's free. Is there a premium that I'm not aware of? Chop, you know this.
What do I know, Dean?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it to you and figured you'd have a dynamite drop in, but you got nothing.
Come on, has there somebody from our chat needs to go down and tell us what this whole Naked HD? Someone has to sign up for this and tell us what's going down, and then we'll listen on the show. Tell us what's going down over there.
I mean, not it.
There's got to be a single guy out, a single guy or female. I don't know.
It could be anybody.
I know who we can volunteer. I seen him in chat earlier. He won $1 million. His name's Bobby Gomes. Bobby Gomes can sign up for Naked
Bobby
HD.
Gomes just had a baby.
Congratulations.
Even better. Needs to figure out what's going on with the Naked HD XYZ.
When he's got a girl and a baby?
I didn't think he had a girl.
Yeah. You got to come up with someone. You got to Chop. You can't be breaking families up.
Jared Barden. I see Jared Barden in chat earlier.
He was in chat? I didn't see him.
Probably already.
You're just nominating people to
probably already got a membership.
Do want to mention, if you guys are just joining us, by the way, we are giving away 1 week free of RG Premium to 2 separate people. How do you get your hands on that?
I didn't mean to cut you out, but I had to. It's too good. Eric Johnson, Lip 5 says he will take one for the team and do
there you go.
So let's hold him to that. Let's find out on our next show next week. You got all weekend to do it. I don't know if it's Friday. You could do it Saturday night. It seems nice, But But do that and let us know.
Tony says it's not a dating site. It's cam girls apparently. But again, it's
Tony. Tony's already. Who's Tony?
Somebody in chat. I don't know. We're not on a first name basis.
Already got the inside scoop.
Tony's already signed up for this.
I can't vouch for. It's just Tony A. Amongst all the Tonys, the Tony A is that's what Tony's telling us, and the chat's never been wrong, as far as I know. So I'll take his word for it. Hit yourself up the old Discord. The live stream chat channel. We mentioned it before. Devin is being generous on a Friday, giving away 2 separate 1-week free passes to RG Premium. Just hit the bell to get yourself eligible, and then 2 people will be selected at random. RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Go to the live stream chat channel. Just hit that bell, and you will be potentially eligible. All right, give me the summary, Kirkies, as far as pitchers.
Springs Nola chalk combination. I think it's going to work. You want to get a little different, go Kopech, Severino, or Manoah. Also, you can use Merrill Kelly. You can use Ronnie Garcia if you really want to do it. If you want to get a little weird, like on the upside, I know that Dean's scared off of the strikeout rate for Cleveland, but I say Nick Pavetta throws a gem tonight. I don't know. Use any of these guys. Mackenzie Gore for Chop. Who else was Chop like still in Bundy? So
how many lineups you making tonight? What are the chances Pavetta lands in it?
If I max this 5, I'm definitely gonna have some Pavetta.
Somebody was asking, I missed the comment. I assume you're playing on Yahoo tonight. You are Kid Yahoo. Who's your favorite SP2 over there? Because they're saying, I can't remember the name, but somebody was kind of cheap over there.
Let me crack it.
Or you're not playing on Yahoo tonight?
I play Yahoo every day. Problem is I don't get the magic doesn't start happening until the last 30 minutes. But I'll take a look here.
I'll get back to you. I'll ask Chop for a summary, and then we'll throw it back to you. I'll give you a second. Chop, your summary as far as pitchers?
Summary for me goes something like there's about a 5 spot here that I like. I like Springs, Nola, Manaea, and Merrill Kelly. And then the 5th spot, I personally don't mind. I'm going to take a shot with Dylan Bundy tonight, but I can definitely see Kopech. And then you've also got the I don't know what the ownership's going to end up being, but the Severino Verlander combination could be your 5th spot too. But if you're on DraftKings and you're looking, starting pitcher 2 is technically the guy who's the cheaper guy, out of your 2 starting pitchers. That's got to be Springs all day long. And then you can alternate in the Nolas, Pavetta, Manaea, and those guys as your SP1 and take it from there.
We got Verlander and Severino on DK at about 10%. As far as Fanduel, I'd imagine they're probably around 5%, cut in half, even less. Verlander at 3.5 and Severino at like 3.5. So, of course, those guys are really interesting if you're running some tournaments out there. What do you have for me as far as Yahoo, Kirkies?
Yahoo. So it's going to be Springs Nola. Then we've got Severino is kind of too cheap at 43. He's cheaper than Springs. Then the one that they were probably talking about was Alex Cobb, who's 32 on Yahoo. Yeah. So that's a decision. The problem is you're going to get he doesn't have much of a ceiling because he only threw 60 pitches in his last game, and he was not very effective. So I'd be pretty scared. I love the matchup against Cincy. I like the overall. I'm kind of in on Alex Cobb this season in general, but until I see him back, and I guess you can take a chance on it, but I wouldn't. I'm not playing him. I run my main lineup. If I'm multi-entering, sure, but I'm not using him in my main.
My apologies to Naked HD in chat who DM'd me, and I did not respond. I wasn't ignored. I've done a terrible job of keeping up with Discord, and there's a whole bunch of people that have asked me something, I'm sure, and I'm afraid to click on it. I just want to say, my bad, I've not paid attention to Discord very well.
Do you not go to Discord every day, Dean?
I mostly go there for work-related stuff, so I don't. I'm not
responding to the people is work-related.
Yeah, and you don't get messages from NBA Live 99.
I can scroll through and I have messages. I have a bunch of messages, which again, I it's gotten overwhelming and there's too many. I don't know and it's been too long, and I just feel bad. What am I going to respond to something from 3 months ago and say, "Oh, my bad," and it probably is no longer relevant. I don't know. But I will respond in my own personal Discord channel.
I don't know if you saw the Antonio Brown tweet where he responded after 3 years to to somebody, but yeah, you can do that. Also, I just want to point out. Yeah, you did. I also want to point out, Kirk, we can see the reflection of Naked HD in your glasses. You gotta take those off.
My apology. I'm apologizing. I will start. I will get better at responding to people. Just tweet at me or something. It's a better chance. But yeah, I'm going to have my own Discord channel, so I'll be on top of that. But maybe I'm going to go back and take a day.
Chop, what are we doing about ours?
Nobody has gotten back with me yet. Dan Boggs leaving me hanging.
You guys are welcome to hang out in my Discord channel.
Nuts. You don't even answer your messages. What do we want to hang out there for?
I'm sending the olive branch right now.
Okay.
Happy Chop and I have a lot of Discord experience.
We answer messages. That's for damn sure.
Well, you have less these days, Derek Carty, because you've.
That's
you think I don't have a? You think I don't have another 5 Discords?
I don't know. I have no idea what you're up to. I don't have a lot of Discord experience. I have some, a little bit, but I guess I haven't. I'm not Discord worthy. A lot of people haven't invited me to their chat. I don't know what's going on. I lobbied for years to get in yours.
Is that the truth?
You guys refused. You're like, we don't want him for whatever reason. I don't know, but I'm not worthy. I can't eat at your lunch table. Is that what's going on?
Dean, you came into the CPC, I remember, for a brief minute, and you didn't even play poker once.
I know. Because I just didn't. I don't know. I was going to, and then I got distracted, and I'm like, And then,
Did you get distracted by a cam girl, Dean? Some people are saying the cam girl got you.
Do you remember the specific cam girl?
No, I'm easily.
Chop. Tell the people who the specific cam girl was.
You tell them. You tell them.
No, I can't.
Know what you're talking about.
Can't do that to Blender.
I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what you're referencing.
You get that. You get that, right, Chop?
I'm not really picking up what you're putting down here. I have to say I'm a little lost too.
We do want to seamlessly mention Stat Hero. If you guys don't want to play MLB DFS,
you're burying the lead, Dean.
What?
You're burying the lead. Oh yeah. Oh, all right. Okay. I got it.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Again, this is I don't get these references because I'm not in your Discord. I don't know what you're talking about. Stat Hero is not an MLB DFS product. It's if you don't want to build a lineup out of 14 teams, just too overwhelming. You don't want to play against Chop. You don't want to play against Turkeys. You don't want to play against Naked HD and Chat. In Stat Hero, what you do is it's a unique fantasy sports platform that allows you to compete only against the house. You're playing against Stat Hero. It's a head-to-head style contest. Stat Hero, they're going to provide a lineup. You just got to take that lineup down, pick 'em style. We want to give you all a promo code. It's Grinders for a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Feel free to check that out. And since we're doing promos, since we're doing reads, let's knock this one out too before we get to the sticks, get to the bats and all that. Go around the horn, give our favorite players position by position. Are you a fan of best ball, Chopper? Are you? If you are, check out Spike Week, spikeweek.com. That's the premier resource for best ball for any sport. Of course, right now, NFL's in full swing. They have NBA basketball, MLB, NFL playoffs, and that's a thing. Golf as well. Spike Week best ball tools. They include the ADP tools, the Draft IQ that will help you track your exposures across all your drafts. SpikeWeek.com. Chop, I'm sure you love, the Spike Week, the best ball Twitter. That's like your favorite version of Twitter, I imagine.
Dean, again, same as like a week ago when we talked about it. I'm sitting here holding my junk. Eric Beinfor he hadn't got back to me yet. I'm getting ghosted in the DMs. I want to get access to the Spike Week, and he ain't got me. But y'all,
he's pulling a Dean in the Discord. He's totally ignoring me.
It's a great product, though. It is. That's why I'm trying to get access.
I've got suggestion.
I'm trying not to pay for it, but if I have to, I will.
I bet you if you go right to Ross, maybe he could set.
That's
that
where I go.
For you. If Benfor's not, he's too busy for Chop Man, the two-time multi-millionaire winner here, guy who lives best ball, eats, sleeps, breathes best ball, and he's not going to reply. And a guy who's actually helped build RotoGrinders to what it is today. I mean, on the back of Chop, right? Like Chop is a huge part of this, and so I think you could go to Ross, and I bet you he could help you.
There's a thing about that, though.
Ross is the man.
This is, if Beinfor doesn't want me in there, then who am I to just force my way in? Like if he doesn't want me in, then I'm cool with just not being in there. Right?
Good point. You don't want to be somewhere where you're not wanted.
Exactly. So
like a Discord channel that refuses to invite you. You don't want like a pity invite, is what you're saying.
Yeah, Dean, you're way out of line right now. Okay.
I'm saying that, independent of nothing, like just I wouldn't want to be where I'm not welcome and just to shut me up. Here's an invite.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Spike Week. So,
And then Chop is a best ball enthusiast. He's and it's about to heat up too. We're about to get a lot of best ball tweets just firing all day night here about mock drafts and who fell where. I mean, it's going to be great.
So check it out, spikeweek.com. Favorite stacks today, Curtis? It's like, again, I don't know who my favorite is. I don't think there's a clear and obvious team. You tell me otherwise. I don't even know how to rank them, to be honest. I will say on FanDuel, I'm ending up with a ton of Dodgers, and 1 through 9 you can play. And they're really, really cheap, and they make everything else work for me. And they're not incredibly positioned, but they're just a good hitting team and a good hitting ballpark, and that's good enough for me. What say you?
Well, my favorite is actually the Angels, believe it or not, and which is rough because they can let you down with the best of them. But I think, Trout's coming out of his slump. Shohei is just a freaking beast. Ward, cooled off, but he's coming back to life here. Jared, like that top 1, 2, 3, 4 is really nice looking. The bottom, the other, the rest of the lineup isn't so nice looking, but you can start with that 4 and start playing around. And that would be my favorite stack for like single entry stuff or smaller field stuff. Then, everything is wide open from there. Second fit. I mean, I like the Red Sox tonight against Quantrill. I think that they're going to be kind of lower owned here tonight. Everyone's on Minnesota. I'm not so big. I like the other side of that game. I like Colorado.
Less now Minnesota with Buxton out, right?
Yeah, I mean, sure, of course, but I wasn't really big on them anyway. I'm actually kind of tempted to play a little Marquez, but he's been so bad. But Dodgers are probably going to be somewhat chalky because Dodgers are in a decent spot here. Cardinals, I mean, you can always play the Braves, even though it's not the most ideal matchup. But I mean, it's a boom bust matchup, right? Like, I'm not big on the Braves tonight. Forget I said that. I like Urias.
I'm okay with them just because I don't love anybody. Just bet on that ballpark, and the talent's pretty good as well. According to our stack rankings, consensus is Dodgers, Angels, Minnesota, Boston, Texas, St. Louis, KC, White Sox. It's just kind of all over the place.
Yeah, the White Sox are they've been so brutal this season, but I mean it's a great spot at home against the Orioles here against Austin Voth.
Robert is back as well too.
Yep, exactly. Their lineup just looks a lot better. And Tim Anderson's back. They're getting healthier again, and so that 1 through maybe even Berger, that 1 through 7 looks pretty good.
Your boy is the only person to put the White Sox on the board. I put him 5th. Nobody else ranked. I mean, again, it's 14 games. Ownership is not going to be like I saw somebody in chat talking about Freeman's 1%, and he might not be 1%. He might be 3%, but he's going to be like, Freeman's going to be like 5% owned on his revenge game, whatever you want to call it, first game back. He was crying earlier today in a press conference. He left that place. He left Atlanta strangely. Like it seemed like he loved playing there, and I don't know what happened. Like they didn't necessarily reach out, and obviously they made a deal for Olsen, but odd circumstances there. I think this is his first time back. I'm pretty sure it's his first time back in Atlanta since that trade. Chop, your thoughts as far as stacks? And I should mention the Dodgers just. FanDuel DK, it's so much easier to play the Dodgers on FanDuel. Just so easy, the way those prices are. But where are you at as far as stacks?
I'll be stacking tonight a little bit. I'll be stacking tonight. It's a big slate. You got to go for it. But, yeah, I agree that at the top of the chart, you got to have the Angels up there high on your list. So that's a given. I was on Minnesota heavy until that lineup came out. And we lost a couple of the guys that I really identified that I really wanted tonight. Now I look at the lineup and it's pretty bad. It's atrocious. So, one thing about stacking is it's not just about the opposing pitcher. there's a lot of things going in, and just a bad lineup is just tough to stack, and that's a bad lineup. It's kind of like Oakland tonight. I want to stack against Greinke. Always, I want to stack against him these days. Can't do it with Oakland though because they're terrible. So, so I'm going to pass on Minnesota for right now. But I do like the White Sox and the Angels, which you mentioned. Kansas City in that Oakland game against Cole Irvin. I like Kansas City quite a bit tonight. I like Texas. Believe it or not, a little Texas. Yeah, I want to attack this Washington team here. So Texas and my under the radar. I don't even know if they're under the radar, but I think they should be. Arizona is the other team I identified tonight that I really like.
Let's go around the horn, give our favorite players position by position. Crunch Time crew coming in about 20, 25 minutes or so. Chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. You got Dave Potts. You got Derek Carty. Not messing around on a Friday night. Kirk Dees, you're drawing the short straw as far as catcher. Obviously, don't have to roster one on FanDuel. You can roster one on DK. Well, you have to roster one on DK. What are your thoughts as far as catcher this evening?
I'll get to that in a second. I just want to reiterate. I kind of like that Oakland stack too, like Chop saying. Like that Oakland Royals game could go off. Both are bad bullpens. KC has the highest xFIP for a bullpen on the slate. Oakland is number 4th on the slate. So 2 attackable bullpens, 2 attackable pitchers. If I was doing Oakland, I would probably do a mini stack of Laureano. Is it Laureano or Laureano? I can't always remember.
I think it's Laureano, but I'm not positive.
I think so too.
I just can't believe 28 teams and you're considering Oakland. That's
but just a 3-man, right? Like just
small.
So do 3, 4, 5, Laureano, Seth Brown, and then Sean Murphy as the catcher who's got some pop. And if you need salary because of your lineup, then play the number 2 batter, Jonah Bird 2K. Bride. But 2K, you can use that and then you can make a nicer stack next to it. But all right, catcher. Let's see. I do like Mitch Garver is going to be the chalk here at 3K, batting 5th in a. Washington is awful and their bullpen is horrendous too. So I have nothing bad to say about him. So I like that play, just except he's going to be kind of chalky. It's the only problem. I like Melendez always on the Royals. I like Sean Murphy, as I just said. I like FF Kirk. Is that what you call him, Chop?
Yeah, that's his nickname.
Is that Alejandro Kirk? Well, what do those FF stand for? Dare I ask? I have a guess, actually. It just popped in my head. But does it have anything to do with his husky frame?
Yep, it does. Sure does.
I think I know where you're going with that. Yeah.
Will Smith for sure. And if you want to pay down, Carson Kelly's not been good this season. He's been horrendous this year, but batting 7th in a game for 2,300 in Detroit. I mean, a game against Detroit where this things could rip open. He could find himself in a good spot. I don't know. That's what I got.
Varsho 2.5 on FanDuel is pretty awesome leading off versus Garcia. Of course, you can throw him in the outfield as well.
Yes.
And Will Smith is one of those, all the Dodgers I like on FanDuel. He's 2.9. And I think he's just a good hitter. He's not just a good hitting catcher, but he's pricey on DK, obviously. I think he's, close to 5, over 5. Yeah, he's 5.6 on DK. That's Dodgers is a different story, DK versus FanDuel. Chop, what do you have as far as catcher?
My favorite is Mitch Garver tonight. Just all around the price tag. He's like, if you're going to, there's not really a punt on DraftKings. This is the closest thing to it, but I don't need to save an extra 500 or 600. I just go Mitch Garver at like 3K on DraftKings. I like Mitch Garver quite a bit. And then that's my favorite. And if you twist my arm and say, take another guy. And besides the guys that already been mentioned, maybe Sean Murphy has a one-off against Greinke in that game. So, but Mitch Garver's my guy. If I had to play a catcher.
Let's jump to first, Chop. It's pretty loaded. Otani, first base eligible on DK. Just the outfield on FanDuel. Walsh, pretty good price both places. Abreu, good prices both places. Like the 3.6 for Walsh on DK. I think he's 3.1 on FanDuel. I want to say Abreu's 3.1 as well. 4K on DK. Spend ups like Vladdy and Goldie will be kind of ignored. Freeman is going to be mostly ignored. And again, awesome tournament play, I think. First base loaded. Where are you stopping? It feels like you got to get something good here. You can't really miss.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up my numbers now, Dean. First of all, I'll go through some names that are okay, that I like. Hunter Dozier, Jared Walsh, and Jose Abreu, I think are fine. But now we get to the two guys I really like at this position. Like number one, Paul Goldschmidt against Kyle Hendricks. Why, you ask? Got my BVP working.
There it
now,
is.
It's not the best BVP of the day. There's another one later that I like a little bit more, but I like a little Paul Goldschmidt in his 39 at bats and
that's a healthy sample.
Only 4 Ks against Kyle Hendricks. And about 30% of those, roughly 30% of those are extra base hits again.
Wow.
So, it's just a little something that those are the sprinkles on top of the already nice Paul Goldschmidt.
I just found another nice BVP play that reiterate the Laureano is how you pronounce it, Dean. So I just wanted to double check that. I mean, he's got some nice BVP.
Yeah. And then
problem is though, he's got 4 Ks.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with those high strikeout BVPs. But and then maybe my favorite play at first base is Christian Walker. Tonight, clean up against Garcia. I really like it. Yeah, I'm not, the details on Christian Walker. Kirk doesn't like it when I use pitch type. He doesn't like when I use pitch type. So I won't go into the details, but some things are drawing me to Christian Walker tonight.
If you like it, that's all that matters. Like, I know a lot of people like the pitch.
If Chop likes it, I like it. I like it for him. Like, I'm happy.
The only thing I see is
the condescending thing to say. I like that.
We're going against Ronny Garcia here, right? And what does he do? Like, he's got one of the highest. He's going to half the time he's going to throw his 4-seamer, right? That's what he does. It's 4-seamer. It's terrible. It's just not a good pitch. So I'm looking to attack it. Who can I attack it with? Who's notorious for killing fastballs, 4-seamers in this lineup, and Christian Walker's had a pretty good career against 4-seamers. So it's driving me to Christian Walker tonight.
How are you figuring out first base, Turkeys? Because there's a plethora of options. Maybe it's just the first baseman in your stack if you're stacking, but like for me, it's kind of like whatever fits. It's like the first thing I'm plugging in. How about yourself?
What's that?
First base. I'm saying it's not like the first thing. I'm not saying, I'm not starting. My starting point isn't I got to have Abreu. I got to have Goldie. I got to have Walsh. But like when I'm finishing my lineup construction, it's like, okay, which one fits now?
I got to have someone good at first base though. So like, because there's a lot of opportunity cost here tonight. So Shohei is my preferred if I can get him. Jared Walsh, I'll probably end up playing them together. Abreu is fine with me. I love Christian Walker. His StatCast stuff is just amazing this season. Quite a turnaround. A lot of these Diamondbacks are big turnarounds. I like Goldschmidt. I like Free Money Freddie. I like BVP play of the day, CJ Crone. Good BVP. I'm talking primo BVP on this one. So we're talking 3 homers and 17 at bats.
What?
Yeah.
That's kind of just like what he does.
Yeah.
That's what Crone does versus most people. Basically.
So there's a lot of ways to do it. So, the lowest I really kind of want to go here is Jared Walsh. Yeah. Maybe Frenchie. Maybe
come on. Cordero. 20 good. And you're playing Frenchie Cordero as your first base.
Look, it's got to be someone who can put up a big score. He's not great, but he can certainly hit a homer. He can hit a bomb. So 2,900, he would be the lowest I'll go.
Keystone position, Turkeys second base. Gorman looks like the best bang for your buck kind of play on DK, 3.7K. And I keep hinting in as far as the Dodgers. Muncie's 2.6 over there, which is just a goofy price. He's 5.2 on DK. Again, different story. Speaking of story, you can play Trevor as well. Don't mind Simeon. We talked about Bride as a potential punt to open things up. Ketel Marte's got a nice little price on FanDuel, but what say you as far as second?
Stolen Norman Gorman. Love him. Love Ketel Marte. Coming back now. Hopefully he's feeling better. 4,400 against Ronny, who Chop is right, who's going to be throwing a 93 mile per hour 4-seamer about 50% of the time. And it isn't a great pitch. He does have some good secondary stuff, but we'll see. The book hasn't been written. If you have to punt, Jonah Bird, 2K, batting second, stone minimum. Other than that, little BVP with Trevor Story here, which is always nice to see. You can get on board there. Semien, Texas is in a great spot. So there's a lot of ways to go.
I just saw in chat somebody saying Espinal is leading off. I presume that means Springer is still not playing. Let's just go ahead and confirm. Do we have did I miss? Is that lineup already out for Toronto? Did I miss it? I might have. Yeah, okay. Espinal, Bichette, yeah, that already happened. Guerrero, FF, Kirk, Hernandez, Tapia, Chapman, Gurriel, Biggio. Chop, what do you have that as far as second, if anything? Otherwise, we can move on and talk about third.
He mentioned a lot of the guys I like. Semien, Marte, Storman, Norman, and Jonah Bird, 2K, really a good price. I mean, you can't go wrong there. The only other two guys I identified that I'm adding on is Whit Merrifield against Cole Irvin, because I really want to attack this matchup tonight. Cole Irvin and Luis Ariz. He's really solid. He's expensive, but maybe that drives down his ownership a little bit. But
wow,
gotta have somebody. Gotta have somebody from Minnesota in there.
Espinal is really cheap on FanDuel. I think he's like 2-2 or 2-3 leading off there for Toronto. Chop, talk about third base. Hot corner. Of course, you can spend up on Devers. You can spend up on J-Ram. Otherwise, I don't know. Is there a clear and obvious next guy that they're kind of on their own tier? Austin Riley's, certainly if you want to get on the Atlanta side against Arias. Are you spending up or are you spending down as far as third?
I guess I'm spending up in some lineups and I'm spending down in others, Dean. That's all I can tell you about that is that I'm looking at it and Devers jumps out. Like he's the one guy that jumps out at this position is Rafael Devers. Like the next highest projected guys in ownership and raw points, guys like Jose Ramirez. I kind of don't want to go with Jose Ramirez. Max Muncy, not a Max Muncy guy tonight. I actually think the LA-Atlanta game could be more pitching than hitting, so I don't want to go Muncy. None of the other guys are jumping off. The only other guy that I could tell you is maybe take a shot if you want to save some money on Patty the Tooth.
Patrick Wisdom, of course, the brain. Turkeys, what do you have as far as third? Is it clear and obvious to you? Yeah.
I can't believe you're still sticking by this brain bit. It's obviously the tooth. Patty the Tooth. I'm on board. That's interesting. I didn't actually mention Palante as a pitcher for 5,500. I could actually get down with a little bit of that. He only threw 75 pitches, but if he gets a little bit more here tonight, he had a good start against Boston. I remember watching him. He had some good breaking stuff. He throws about 95, 96 miles per hour on his fastball. So he's kind of interesting to me. So I could play some Cubs too. I'm fine with that, but I kind of overlooked him. So for
16% Ks, 10% walks.
This is completely small sample. This is like taking you're just looking at their pitch mix and what they could be projected out to be. And he got 10 swinging strikes, 29% call strike whiffs against the Red Sox. Like that's pretty decent. So
Dean is doing the same thing with young pitchers right here that he accuses us of doing with BVP with the small sample stuff. Like, okay, you guys are joking because it's such a small sample, but he wants to judge a pitcher after 2 major league starts.
That's all I got. Well, what am I supposed to judge him on? Things he hasn't done?
Disgusting. It's sickening. It's despicable. Despicable.
What a ride this gets out of you.
Anyway, Devers, Ramirez this is another big opportunity cost position, but so Devers and Ramirez are the top there. Ryan McMahon is dirt cheap. I think Bundy is going to get shelled tonight. All right, Chop likes Bundy. This is our one area, one thing we disagree on tonight. So I'm gonna be loading up some, and I'm probably gonna lose because of it because Colorado stinks. But Ryan McMahon batting 6, 3,100. I'm calling a home run here tonight.
By the way, Palante was not good in the minors at striking people out either, for what it's worth. So I don't know what you want me to judge him on. Just betting on him to be good eventually. Maybe 23.
He's got good breaking stuff. So he struck out 4 Red Sox in that a team who didn't strike out that much. He's got good breaking stuff. He's got a 95, 96 mile per hour heater. There's a lot. The story has not been written on this kid. This kid could develop into something nice. This kid could get it done and facing a bad team like the Cubs.
Care about tonight and tonight only. He could be good in 3 years from now.
Yes, and that's you gotta project forward, and that's how you win GPPs. I'm not sitting here playing 10% of everyone. I'm trying to find a low-owned play and print some money, Dean. Okay. This is how you play DFS.
How does this work? Shortstops, Curtis. What do you have as far as shortstops tonight?
Corey Seager, top overall play. Tim Anderson's right there. Bobby Witt's there. Trey Turner is expensive, really hard to fit. Should bring his ownership down, but do like him. Carlos Correa, Bo Bichette. It'll be interesting if Brandon Crawford comes back or not. Not sure. But, I do like San Francisco, and he's cheap. And so if he is back in the lineup at 3,500, I don't know if he will be back or not, but if he is, then he'd be someone I'd look at.
Did somebody get scratched for the Cubs? I just see updated Cubs lineup. I'm not really sure who may be in all of a sudden and out, but apparently the lineup was updated according to Twitter. Chop, what do you have as far as shortstops tonight? Taking a look at our rankings. We got, Tim Anderson's pretty cheap on Fanduel. I like his price over there. Of course, Trey Turner's a nice spend up. Don't hate Correa. I mean, I wish Buxton was in that lineup, just kind of make that lineup more stackable. Sure. Bichette also pretty cheap on Fanduel at 3-3. Baez kind of a punt over there as well. He's seen some power of late. Chop, what do you have as far as shorts?
Yeah, the old Correa was going to be part of my stacks for Minnesota, but now he's just a measly little one-off with those scrubs batting behind him. It's pretty bad. So he's a one-off. Bobby Witt Jr. I really like quite a bit tonight. And then Corey Seager is, I'm going to be taking some of these Texas guys in this matchup and seeing if I can get a little bit of that Texas stack and see if they can take it home. But those are the three guys that I've got.
Derek in chat saying VR is DFA'd. I guess maybe he was in the lineup at some point. He's no longer. So that could have been what's going on with the Cubbies. Outfield, again, Cross, Buxton off the list. Both Angels looking really solid. Trout, Ohtani for sure. If you have salary, they look awesome to me. People aren't playing the outfield in that Houston Yankee game. And as always, you can always play Judge in tournaments. You can always play Jordan in tournaments. Tucker as well. Stanton as well. Chop, who are you liking as far as outfielders this evening?
I guess right at the top of my list is spearheaded by David Peralta. He's one of my top two Arizona guys I like tonight. So I'm on Peralta. You guys, we've already mentioned Laureano tonight. I really like him against Greinke. And from there, we're talking about guys like Mike Trout, Taylor Ward for the Angels. Get some of that. Hunter Dozier, I mentioned him at second base. He's outfield eligible on DraftKings. Also, Whit Merrifield again. Jesse Winker, Seattle against Lorenzen. You never know. Winker's the one guy I really do like in that lineup tonight. Max Kepler was, again, part of the Minnesota deal. He's one of the very few remaining decent hitters left in that lineup. And as always, Dean, I'm always going to give you a little Julio Rodriguez. Julio Rodriguez tonight I like.
By the way, we talked about it as far as giving away 1 week free in RG Premium. If you guys participated, thanks for participating in the RotoGrinders Discord. 2 people randomly hit that bell. They got their 1 week free of RG Premium. Shout out to Double M Squared and Hutchboy. They each got 1 week free of RG Premium. I believe Devin has already contacted y'all, so congrats. Curtis, outfielders.
Yeah, Chop nailed some. So my favorites are Trout, Ohtani, and Ward. Then from the cheap punt today, if you need it, 2,900 is Alec Thomas against Garcia in Texas. The Tigers. So I like that one if I need to. I do think in general that I like Chop's call on the Mariners. I think this game is like a good I think this game is going to blow up on both sides. I think the Seattle's going to put up some nice runs tonight. So get in line. So Julio Rodriguez is hitting a bomb tonight. That's going to be my my home run call of the day here, easy. And you can play him with Winker for sure. Trammell for some savings. Cal Raleigh is a good. He's been smashed. He's been raking. No one plays this guy at catcher, so he's batting 6th. He's moving up in the order. He's been hovering around 9, but they can't stop this guy, so they moved him up. But other than that, it's a good night to also no one's going to play like Jordan or Judge. Like, we should be playing these guys in any matchup, no matter what. So like, take advantage of like completely low ownership. They're just smashing, right?
They're going to be completely lost in this slate. And I'm not running 150. I'm not running 20. If I was, they would absolutely be in my pool. I would want at least a piece of them. Some questions we see in chats. Chop, tell me this. Donnie wants to know. Pick one, Severino or Verlander, speaking of that New York-Houston matchup.
That's a tough one. I know Kirk likes Severino. If I had to pick just one in that game, I would probably lean Verlander.
Oh, shocker.
Only because I know the intensity he brings to the game. And you don't really worry about the regular season too much at a certain point in baseball. Like, you're just more concerned about getting through it healthy. But a Yankees-Astros, after last night, the bullpen blowing it for Houston, I think Verlander comes out with a little extra spice tonight and tries to show them. Like I said, neither one of them are in my top 5. But I would say Verlander, only because he might be a little bit more intense than Severino tonight.
Kudos to Chop for bringing out, just shoving it right on the stat nerds, right in their face, like something you can't quantify, right? Like intensity. And these are the things that Chop brings to the table here. So you gotta love that call.
So Carty's going to be on in a minute. He's got the bat, all different variables factor in, I'm sure. You're saying oomph or extra oomph or crowd size is not factored in. Is that not something? You can't quantify it, right, Curtis? But he's going to be juiced up because probably bad choice of words there for Verlander. But he's going to be ready to go as far as this game tonight. You play 162, and amongst the 162, a game Friday night, Yankee Stadium, your rival, these teams don't seem to like each other. They talk smack to each other, is bigger than a game Wednesday in Oakland. That's what Chop's saying. And Curtis, how do you quantify that?
I mentioned that myself. See, Chop and I, we were cut from the same cloth here. I said that in the beginning, that when you get 2 ace pitchers going at it, you usually end up with a pitcher's duel, right? Like they usually bring it on each side, and it's fun to watch. It's actually like usually it's not fun watching pitchers do well in low run games, but when you got 2 aces, you got to respect that and just enjoy the show.
Right on cue. We got Roth, we got Dave Potts, we got Carty. And Carty, we're talking about this. Curtis and Chop, they want to know, how does the bat factor in? The oomph factor, the fact that this game, New York, Verlander, Severino, Yankees, Astros, Friday night. How many more points do we project for the pitchers? Because they're going to be trying extra hard, right?
I just want to cut this off. We do not want to know Carty's opinion on that. We never asked for Carty's opinion on that.
I mean, you got to credit them each at least an extra 50 DraftKings points. It's a big deal. Prime time, rival, it matters so much.
No, don't be a smartass. This does matter, right?
No, it doesn't matter. It's nonsense.
I'm so with Chop that this matters. I think in general in baseball, effort is not a big thing, but there are times when players lock in, and this seems like one of those times when they would. Chop, I like this take, man.
I mean, it's clear as day. You give basketball a guy on his birthday, he's gonna get fed. He's gonna get fed on his birthday, right? That's what happens.
Never fails.
But in basketball, it's something that they can control. They can go out of their way to give that guy more volume or more shots if they want to. In baseball, that's not a thing.
And I would say that if it was the hitter. The hitters have it, but I mean, as a pitcher, now my intensity. Well, maybe that's a little extra. Maybe that's a mile and a half more on my fastball tonight because I'm
a pitcher who can throw a mile and a half more on their fastball at will doesn't do it every single time. It doesn't make any sense.
If you had my patent pending system that monitors bobblehead splits, you might think
the
differently.
Bobblehead night's a big deal in the narrative community.
Yeah.
Wait, can we shift this to Cheese as the judge, the be all end all in this conversation?
Yeah.
Cheese,
I so much wanted to be with Chop until he says they might throw a mile and a half faster.
I've seen it, Verlander. I've seen him do it.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah.
Basically, Cheese is
I
saying
don't even want to be.
He's with us. He's with us.
It's a lose for Cheese.
It really is.
We got a jam-packed slate, but we'll leave it at that. We'll step aside and get out of here. Myself, Chopper, and Curtis. We thank you all for watching. Do hit that like button. I was going to say on your way out, but y'all aren't going anywhere. You want to hear what Roth has to say? You want to hear what Carty has to say? You want to hear what Dave has to say as far as this big boy slate, 14 gamer, not messing around. And Roth, I think, I don't want to speak for you, but we feel pretty good as far as weather tonight. No major issues, most likely, unless maybe a pop-up in Atlanta.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's a chance for a pop-up storm in Atlanta, and models have backed off on the coverage. So chance for a delay, but play the bats. And if you like a pitcher there, like, all right, fine. I won't call you crazy.
Alrighty, y'all. We're going to step aside and get out of here on behalf of myself, Kirk Dees, and Chopper, and BVP, and the extra mile and a half for Justin Verlander tonight. Now is the start of the Fanduel-sponsored Crunch Time. Go for it, boys.
Appreciate it, as always, Dino and the rest of the crew. Welcome to it. This is indeed Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel. Sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1K. And FanDuel Sportsbook users can take advantage of that with their first-time bet. You don't have to play through it 10 or 15 times or anything crazy. Just your first bet, you get that bonus. So good stuff going on over there with our sponsors. If you're watching this on YouTube for free, it's because of our sponsor, FanDuel. So go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button, and be honored that we are graced with the presence of two of the sharpest minds in the industry. One, as always, Mr. Dave Potts, a.k.a. Cheese is Good. What up, Cheese?
Well, howdy.
Howdy.
I'm in like generally a pretty good mood today, but I don't have any idea what I'm doing on this slate. Like my lineups are the most nonsensical, garbage lineups. I don't even know. Like I'm glad Carty's here, and just right off the bat, I'm gonna say if we get cash questions, please don't even ask me. Like I'm serious. I don't even want them.
Is it too many good plays? Is that the concern, or is it
too many? Like it's all so bunched up. Like it's too many. It's not.
But here's the thing, Dave. Here's the thing. You came in here. The very first thing you said was, "I'm in a good mood." So you're happy today. So can't you just make your brain work at like 30% higher efficiency and churn out better lineups because
the intensity factor. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I don't have Chop's intensity ability to be able to just do that.
All right. Well, Narrative Street aside, we also do have Derek Carty here, creator, inventor, CEO of the Bat and the Bat X Enterprises. He was the Sultan of Stat, but apparently someone else already is that, so we got to come up with a new good nickname. It's Derek Carty. How are you, man?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I got to have a debate already about intensity, so yeah, I mean, nothing could be better.
I firmly was in agreement with Chop, and I still am. But having someone who is much smarter than me and more knowledgeable in the subject being fully against it, like you, really is taking away my shine as to how I feel about this.
I can see it in a sport like basketball. You know, it's a guy's birthday. Sure. They try to get him the ball more. Like, yeah, that could be a thing. In baseball, there's no equivalent to that. It's just.
And in basketball, you can run around and rebound more or take more shots or do things intentionally that can up your stats. Or in baseball,
you get a fixed number of like that. It's the same.
You're just trying to hit the ball and or throw the ball so it is not hit, and that's pretty much it. But hey, look, how do you feel about this slate in cash games? Do you feel the same way as Cheese, where it's really condensed?
Yeah, it's just completely bunched up. You know, if you run probably like 100 bad optimals right now, you're probably gonna wind up within like a point with all of them.
Okay.
There's just not a lot. There's not like one team that sticks out as like, this is like the chalk. There's no Coors or Wrigley Wind or like really anything that's like that kind of thing. It's a bunch of stuff that's pretty similar.
And like the bad pitchers are facing the bad teams. It's one of those days, and the good teams are facing the good pitchers. So it just all ends up in the same little spot.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of a day like this so far this season. So I'm kind of excited to hear you guys break it down and to try to work our way through this, because the people want the plays, and we've got 35 minutes to get it to them. I mentioned off the top weather, not really a concern. Chance for a delay in Atlanta. Do we want pitchers there, or just I assume we want bats?
That's bats.
Yeah, you just play bats there. Things should be fine. And then there was a chance for delay in Minnesota. I don't even think that's going to happen anymore. So let's focus on what we're going to do about some of these pitchers. Cheese, would you mind leading us off here?
I don't mind. So, and the slate gets weird right off the bat see what I did there? Right from the start. I don't want to take the words. The only like obvious thing about this slate is Aaron Nola. You should play Aaron Nola. But weirdly, I feel like it's coming in obvious that you're supposed to play Jeffrey Springs too. and it's uncomfortable that it's Jeffrey Springs, right? Most like some people still haven't even heard of the guy.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah. So I start my morning. I just look at just the stats. I don't even look at matchup or salary or anything. And
we saw my favorite team.
Yeah. And I was looking at it and I go, somehow it's like Nola and Severino. And then like Jeffrey Springs is arguably the third most skilled pitcher on this slate. But I was hoping that projections wouldn't like him, maybe just because of sample size or something, or he's not throwing a ton of pitches, but the bat hasn't projected the highest. Our projection have him the highest. All the experts like him. Like, it seems like the weirdest chalk in the world. But he's a good pitcher. He's at home against Pittsburgh. Like, I can't really tell you to play anything other than Nola and Springs if you have the salary to do it. On FanDuel, you do have the salary to do it. I think you just play Nola and or Springs and just be done with it, even though there's a lot of good pitchers. DraftKings is way tougher because you really can't spend up twice. Even Nola Springs is pushing it a little bit in tournaments. And so like guys like Severino and Verlander and Alek Manoah kind of just aren't on my radar at all. And I don't think they're not going to be unowned. Like Nola will be the chalk, but it's not like going to be a 50% Nola to a 3% Severino. So I'm just playing Nola. If I can afford Springs, great. But part of the reason I don't like this slate is my lineups on DK have just nonsense cheap pitchers that are terrible. I'm playing Ronnie Garcia in Arizona. I'm playing Zach Greinke in 2022 because he's 5,200 against Oakland. I have Paolo Espino in a real life lineup because the bats I want. I have Andre Palante in a real life lineup. Is once you get past Springs or maybe Merrill Kelly at 7,900, you can make a case for Herman Marquez at 69. But I want so many expensive bats. I'm playing nonsense cheap SP2s and hoping I get 8 points.
Is your ownership on Springs going to end up coming in lower than the field, or at least is that your intention? And then you're just spreading it out with nonsense?
Hopefully I'm a little above the field on Springs.
Oh, okay.
Like I think we're probably right calling him something like 35%. Mm-hmm. And I'm fine going over that. It's like I don't feel like this is a slate you win it at pitcher.
Okay, but you may lose it at pitcher with some of your choices.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, I just want as much Nola as I can get, and then I'm just throwing darts. And I see a question already. Yes, Mitch Keller is also in that mix of just throwing stuff at the wall here.
Yeah. Okay. For FanDuel in particular, we've got one good pitcher on the slate. I assume we're just playing the guy that you feel comfortable in.
Nola. Or Springs. Nola's 10-3. Springs is 8-3. You really don't need to go below 8-3. You could do like Mackenzie Gore is viable at 8, but with Springs at 8-3, I don't think you really need to go cheaper.
Okay. Carty, let's talk about what we do in cash. Nola Springs.
Yeah, in cash, that's literally it. Anything else is horrible. When it comes to hitters, there's going to be a lot of things you can do, but pitchers, that's literally it.
You don't want Greinke, Palante in cash? I was thinking about it.
No, I'm going to pass on that.
Carty, with all of these cheaper guys, is there any of those plays that you think for tournaments might be worth a shot that not a lot of people are playing at all?
Yeah, so like Nola and Springs are going to come in really high owned. The bat ownership projections, which should be coming out next week, have them both around 40%, which is a big number. So there's going to be like almost anything else is going to be fairly low owned. Nobody else projects for over 20%. Merrill Kelly, I do think is certainly viable. I think Michael Kopech, he's not cheap. He's $9K, but I think he's good for his price and probable ownership. Mackenzie Gore is right there with Kopech. And then there are cheap, silly guys like Cheese mentioned. I don't know if I would go as crazy as playing Paolo Espino or Ronnie Garcia. But like, I do think Mitch Keller is very viable. I think Herman Marquez is viable. Like Bundy and Dunning and Palante. And like, I think they're all, even Greinke maybe. Like, I think they're all fine because there isn't really an actual good cheap pitcher. And so I think the move is either you just throw a bunch of them at the wall and hope one of them sticks, or you juggle your lineups and just pay up a little bit more across the board at pitcher, to get different from Springs and Nola. You do Kelly, Kopech, Gore, that kind of thing instead of like the real cheap bad guys. And I don't think there's a right approach, but I think those are kind of the two kind of directions you can go.
Okay. I'm also feeling like if there's not going to be chalk with the hitters, maybe it doesn't matter all that much if we go chalky pitchers because the bats are going to be so spread out. Cheese, does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's really spread out. Like there's just a couple of guys who might creep up to like 20%, but overall it's just, it's chalk doesn't really exist much on the hitting side.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to hear your guys' favorite stacks, and I'm looking forward. Usually if we take your top 3 favorite stacks, 2 of the 3 are going to be the same. So I'm excited to see how different it is today. But Carty, start us off with, what you think the best stacks are. If there's a chalky one, kind of walk me through that.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be like any overwhelming chalk stacks, but the RG projections do have the White Sox as the highest owned, which seems pretty silly because the bat doesn't even think they're very good. It thinks they're like maybe the 15th best stack today. The Angels project high owned, the Twins, Texas, but like it's going to be spread out. So you don't have to be too concerned about it. I do think the Angels in Texas are very good. But if they are going to be on the higher owned side, especially if you are playing some of the higher owned pitchers, there's other ways you can go. Like the Dodgers are going to be really good, especially on FanDuel. They're priced better. I think the Mariners are very much in play. I think the Royals, I think the Braves and the Jays and the Brewers and the Diamondbacks and the Red Sox and the Guardians and the like there's just so many. Like you really can do like there's probably 15 teams that you're fine to play in GPPs, maybe even more than that.
Okay. Do you think you can give me your 3 favorites? I'm assuming LA and Texas.
Really
yeah.
Give me the I like the Angels and the Rangers. But they are going to come in on the higher side. So I'll just pick one of them. I'll say the Angels, I'll say the Dodgers, and I'll say the Mariners.
Okay. But noting that there's a whole lot of other things.
There's not a right answer here. There's lots of them.
Okay. Cheese, favorite stacks?
Yeah, I totally agree. Like there's just not even a right 5. If I had to just pick one, it would be the Angels. I want, me and everybody else wants the top 4 batters of that lineup. The good thing, and the reason I'm throwing all these nonsense cheap pitchers is you really can't play, Trout, Ohtani, Ward with, Aaron Judge unless you're doing the nonsense pitching. So give me Angels, Dodgers, and Red Sox if I have to pick 3, but I would like to pick more than 3.
Sure. Okay. Anything else off the board you want to mention or no, because there's 15 of them and you don't feel right just mentioning a few?
Yeah, I feel like I would be giving too much credit to a team that I don't really like any better than the next one.
Okay. I understand that. All right. Let's go position by position. Cheese, start us off with a little catcher talk, please.
As we've been seeing a lot, catcher's really just not the weak position anymore. It's okay. Will Smith is a fantastic spend up to be different on DraftKings, and he's way too cheap on FanDuel. We're going to see this a lot on FanDuel. The Dodgers are too cheap, but they're not too cheap at all on DraftKings. I think if there's chalk on DK, it's Mitch Garver, but I do like Mitch Garver a lot. Wilson Contreras will be way off the board as a spend up. Sean Murphy is fine-ish. I'm throwing darts all over this Yankees-Astros game, even despite the intensity factor for the pitchers. I think Higashioka and Castro are fine punts for power.
Here's the thing, though. I just thought of this. So if there's this intensity factor, the Yankees and the Astros, it's a rivalry. They both want to win. Yeah. Severino's throwing harder.
Hitters also more intense.
3 miles more. Aren't the hitters? Yeah. Are they just laying down? Are they not cranking up the intensity too? Doesn't it cancel out?
Chopped failed to factor in the hitter's intensity level, and so it obviously evens out.
That's what I thought.
I think his argument was that the pitchers, in particular Verlander, are seasoned vets who understand when to really buckle down and lock in.
Yeah. Aaron Judge doesn't understand.
Just manifest.
He doesn't know.
He's young. He's not quite. She's not quite sure. He hasn't quite learned that yet. Okay, Carty. Any other catcher thoughts, or you want to just go right to first?
Yeah, Garver on DraftKings for sure. Will Smith is great on FanDuel. Dalton Varsho on FanDuel also. And then it's GPP guys, Cal Raleigh and Seattle stacks, or Stassi and Angel stacks or whatever.
Okay. First base.
Shohei Ohtani is the best first baseman today. You can play him in the outfield also on DraftKings, I think exclusively in the outfield on FanDuel, but he's really good today. If you can get up there, you want to try to make it happen. Jared Walsh in the same lineup though on DraftKings is 3.6K. So he is a really good option. And then you can go down and you can punt the position if you want. A guy like Nate Lowe for Texas, Texas is in a good spot today. They're going to be popular. Hunter Dozier for KC is hitting cleanup against a mediocre lefty in Cole Irvin. Over on FanDuel, I like Vlad quite a bit, especially in GPPs. I think he's going to come in too low owned. Hunter Dozier's 2-3 over there also, so he's in play. And I do think those catchers are very viable on FanDuel. Will Smith, Varsho, you don't have to play a first baseman on FanDuel.
Okay, Cheese?
Yeah, that's also my first thought is I think Will Smith is my favorite, air quotes, first baseman on FanDuel, and Varsho maybe second, because the first basemen are like $1,000 more. I like Goldschmidt and Freeman, but I don't like them $1,000 more than Will Smith. And agree that Hunter Dozier is a good kind of super cheap guy. Jared Walsh will be popular, but probably not as popular as I think he should be. And then even in my superstar Rony Garcia lineups, Christian Walker is very much going to hit a home run tonight.
Okay. Second base.
We talked about this last time, like FanDuel and Max Muncie still have this thing going on that I don't understand. He's too cheap. Nolan Gorman is, I'm going to call him the RG expert play of the day. Like, we all just love Nolan Gorman. I think we've listened to Cards too much, but the guy has legit power, and facing a low strikeout pitcher is the right time for him. So I like him the most on DraftKings, where you need that savings. On FanDuel, you also have Javi Baez, cheap. Marcus Semien is only 3K. And on both sides, I like Trevor Story as a spend up.
Okay. Carty, second.
Yeah, I like Semien a lot, especially on FanDuel, where he's only 3K. Max Muncie is perpetually severely underpriced on FanDuel. He's still 2.6. He's awesome. So I think those are your cash guys. On DraftKings, though, I'm fine with Gorman. I'm also really fine, though, going all the way down to Jonah Bride at 2K, punting, being able to spend up on other good stuff like Ohtani and whatever you want to do. He's hitting second. He's against Zach Greinke. It's it's the hottest game on the board at, I think, close to 90 degrees in KC. So I like Jonah Bride as a punt. And then, it's GPP guys beyond that, Merrifield in your KC stacks, or, again, Semien in your Texas stacks, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Want to take us to third?
Sure. All right. So third base, Rafael Davis is the top third baseman on the board. He's in Cleveland. It's not Fenway, but it is a very, very good hitter's park. He's facing Cal Quantrill, who's really nothing special. And I think on FanDuel, especially, he's super viable in cash games. Jose Ramirez is right behind him. He's a little more expensive on FanDuel, so I think I'd rather just take Devers, who projects slightly better and is a little bit cheaper. But I think they're kind of your two guys on FanDuel. On DraftKings, you can get up to Devers, but he's more expensive. He's 6.2K. Ramirez is 6K. It's a little harder to get up there. So I think you go down and you spend more in the mid-range. We have Patty the Tooth at 3.8K, who I think is viable against Palante. And then we have Ryan McMahon at 3.1. It's not Coors, but it is Dylan Bundy. And it is really good hitting weather in Minnesota. It's close to 90 degrees there also. And so I think McMahon is very much in play. Oh, and then Eugenio Suarez is like the GPP guy that no one's going to play, but the matchup is awesome. He's going to come in really low owned because he's too expensive, but I do like the upside of him and Seattle in general.
Okay. Cheese?
We're showing like pretty big ownership numbers on Devers and Ramirez. I'm not sure they get even to 20%. Like they're both 6K on DraftKings and they're both 4K plus on FanDuel. And you do run out of money. And I think this is the place you spend it. Those guys are fantastic. I absolutely like Ryan McMahon for 31 on DraftKings. And then I would not play Max Muncie at third, but he's there on FanDuel if you need that for some reason. Other random guy, he's not random at all. Austin Riley. I don't mind some Braves righty power. Speaking of just no ownership, I like him.
Okay. Shortstop, Cheese.
There's a position that's really different on the sites. Like there's a bunch of pretty good shortstops. They're all 5K on DraftKings up to Turner over 6. But on FanDuel, they're all closer to 3 other than Turner, who's up near 4. My favorite's Corey Seager, obviously. I like Bobby Witt a good bit. Witt a good bit. Carlos Correa and Tim Anderson are okay. But really, I don't love any of them. I love the third baseman and I love the outfielders that I'm spending on. And the shortstops are all kind of like, sure, they're fine. But I've got lineups with like Dylan Moore and like just nonsense, cheap stuff in stacks. I don't even remember who I have. Like Jose Iglesias around some Rockies and somebody else, Louis Garcia, Nick Gordon. That's on DraftKings only, where they're just super cheap.
Gotcha. Okay, Carty, shortstop.
Yeah, kind of like Cheese said, it's spread out. Corey Seager's my favorite guy, price considered on both sites, but especially on FanDuel. I think he's a really good play. I think he's kind of your cash guy. You can also play Bo Bichette. He's 3.1. He's way too cheap for who he is. On DraftKings, you can get up to Trey Turner, certainly in GPPs. I like doing that. I think Bobby Witt, I think Tim Anderson, I think they're in play. There's not a lot of cheap guys that I really like here. Like Cheese mentioned, I think Dylan Moore, Luis Garcia, like they're fine. Nico Horner, I think, is right in that mix also. But yeah, I really think it's more of a spend up spot tonight.
Okay, outfield.
Yeah, so outfield, obviously, there's a lot. Trout and Ohtani are kind of your premier guys tonight. They're both going to be fairly owned, but they're both really good plays. After that, though, you're probably going to need to find ways to save money, unless in GPPs you're going, you're not playing them, you're doing something different. Like Juan Soto is probably a really good GPP play tonight. Ronald Acuna is probably a pretty good GPP play tonight because people aren't really going to have these guys, but they project well. And Aaron Judge, I think, especially on FanDuel, Aaron Judge is a really good GPP play tonight. But in terms of like mid-range, cheaper type stuff that you're going to need at least one or two of, especially on DraftKings, you have Alek Thomas hitting second for Arizona tonight. He's 2.9K against Rony Garcia. You have Jesse Winker for Seattle at 3.3K, who I mentioned really liking Seattle, and Winker's a really good hitter. You have Franmil Reyes at 2.8K. The guy's got monster power. He's against Nick Pavetta, and he's 2.8K. You have Kirilloff at 2.6. You have AJ Pollock at 3.2. Like there's lots of guys like that you can play. Over on FanDuel, Max Kepler, Cole Calhoun, Hunter Dozier, Alek Thomas again. Like those are the type of guys I think that I would be looking at for cash games. And then in GPPs, obviously, it's those studs that are going to go under owned and guys on your stacks.
Geez, any names you want to add to that mix there?
I like most of the cheap names you mentioned. I'll add Grichuk in there for tournaments. Up top, like, while I say I don't know what I'm playing, I don't love this slate, I do absolutely love Judge, Acuna, and Alvarez at just no ownership.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these are three of the best hitters in my lifetime, and no one's playing them. It's really just that simple.
I don't think they're going to come in that low owned. Everybody wants to play those guys. Every expert that we've had.
They're not going to. You can want to do whatever you want to do. Yeah. But that's the thing. You're not playing him unless you're playing my Grinky Palante lineup.
Right. Okay. I don't think people want to do that.
They don't. Yeah. Nor should they.
Yeah. One stack to win it all. Let's see. Carty, I'm going to guess it's Angels or maybe Texas.
You really making me pick one?
I don't know. We don't have to do it this time. I feel like you guys did a pretty good job of breaking down your favorites, honestly. Do you want to just for fun?
Not really, no.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to let you off the hook.
Me.
Yeah, I feel like you guys did a good job of explaining your favorite stacks earlier in the show, and really did a good job of explaining there is no right answer to even your top three, so certainly not for your top one. Cheese, you in agreement? We can just take some QQs?
Let's do.
Yeah, all right, let's get to it. Chinatown says, hey, I missed the top. Is anything too risky weather-wise for cash? No, I think the only spot with a chance of a delay is Atlanta, and you certainly play bats there. Home run pick of the day. Favorite guy to hit a bomb? Cheese.
Chalky Trout and unchalky Christian Walker.
Carty?
Yeah, I mean, Trout is clearly like the chalky guy. Unchalky, I'll say Aaron Judge.
Oh, that was going to be mine. Yeah, I mean, all that guy does is hit bombs, so I like his chances against any pitcher. Hey, Carty, can you comment on the stolen base factor for Texas versus Espino? That team's been willing to run when available.
Yeah, actually, Espino is very difficult to steal against, so not really favorable in that regard.
Okay, excellent. DY says DKGPP. Cheese, you want Riley Acuna or Bregman Alvarez?
I love all of that.
Yeah.
So now, quite honestly, my answer is Riley Alvarez, if that's an option. Like, I'm not even bothering correlating this nonsense tonight. I would say Riley Alvarez if that's one of your options. But out of those two, I would go Riley Acuna.
Okay. Sherman's Tanks, Carty, FanDuel Cash, Varsho, or Kepler?
I mean, I'd be considering. I think it's Varsho, but it's close. They're both good.
Okay, and you're going to kind of be working double duty because all cash questions, Carty, are coming your way. Timmy Tebow says DK Cash, Carty, Dozier and Alec Thomas versus Franmil and Winker.
I mean, they're both really good options. It's a toss up. I'll take the second one.
Okay, FanDuel Cash. I think we might get a few of these. Devers and A. Thomas or Otani Dozier?
I mean, again, really close. I'll take the Devers one.
Okay, great. Cheese, Tigers GPP worth a shot here versus a kind of chalky Kelly. Do you have any?
No, I have Javi Baez and like one Riley Green, and that's it. In 150, yes. In like 50, I would say no.
Okay, great. Eric Johnson says, anybody stacking the Nats?
That's similar to Detroit. Like in 150, definitely. Probably even in 50, I would say at least a mini stack. Soto, Bell, and Louis Garcia because he's cheap. And kind of Ruiz as a catcher. So yeah, sort of. Okay.
Yeah, someone said a little mini stack with the Nats.
I do like a Nats mini stack, yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Candace says, and there's no question mark here, there's no sites or anything, it just says Cincy Solano 2100. Geez, is that appealing to you?
No.
Okay. I'm not even sure what it is in reference to. Carty, are the Dodgers a sneaky play in Atlanta? They got so much power. I took notes of your favorite teams, and the Dodgers were most certainly mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers kind of always come in lower owned than they ought to because they're the Dodgers. Unless they're in a really tough matchup, they're almost always going to project as one of, if not the best team of the day. Like the bat projects them just in terms of raw points with the best ceiling today. because they're the Dodgers and it's Atlanta. It's hot. So
That's
yeah,
what I was about to add. It's better than
I don't know.
it
It's
normally
sneaky,
is.
especially on FanDuel. Like I do think people will roster them a little bit over there because of the prices. But yeah, I do like them a lot.
Okay. Cheese, again, no site here, but the question from Darren is Nola and punt at third or Springs and Devers?
I lean Nola and punt, but those are your two options. I like both options, honestly.
Okay. Peter says, Cheese, DK tournament, can you name a cheap pitcher other than Springs and Kelly that has a chance to get it done tonight?
Paolo Espino, right?
It depends. Depending on what "get it done" means. Like Mitch Keller still has talent. Like it so rarely shows up, and I can't say it's probably going to show up, but it's in there. So I would say Keller.
Okay, great. Carty, DK Cash, Ohtani Thomas, or Simeon McMahon?
Ohtani Thomas.
Great. GG says, I've got a 5-man Chicago White Sox stack either way. This now what is to follow looks like a 2v2 Cheese for a DK GPP. Berger and Trout or Abreu and Arenado?
I would go Berger Trout.
Okay. Jay says, how DK single entry, Cardi, I'm going to give this one to you. How good or bad is Ian at holding runners? Turner is staring me, but quite pricey as a one-off.
Yeah, it's going to be Ian Anderson for the Braves and Trey Turner, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Ian Anderson is pretty good at preventing stolen bases.
Okay, thank you for that. Cheese on FanDuel, big field. Do you find yourself with any lineups where you aren't full stacking? I also like that he said stacking just with an IN, no G there. I like that. Any lineups where you're not full stacking? I'm running 2 lineups, and one I've got a 3-man Arizona stack with a bunch of one-offs like Abreu, Trout, Seager, Devers, etc.
I have a lot of non-stacks tonight. A lot of like 3-3-2 type stuff.
Great.
Because you can just get superstar bats everywhere you want them.
Yeah. All right. Red Sox 16 says, Carty, I was on Philly last night in tournaments. Should I go back to the well again tonight?
I'm always a big fan of Philly. But tonight, they're fine. But I don't think they're great tonight, which says something because I think Philly's almost always great. The matchup is not great, and there are, I think, just better stuff out there.
Okay. Aside, FanDuel single entry Cheese, you can only have one of these gentlemen at 4K. Would you rather have Goldie or Free Money Freddie? Is this his first game back? Freeman?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Goldie, who I feel like all he does is hit bombs, or Free Money Freddie.
We got the revenge narrative going for Freddie though tonight. We got to take note.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like that's like in all seriousness, that's actually one where you almost have to factor in the possibility that he's too emotional to even play well. Like that I could see that honestly being a thing. Like
you can't do that. You can't take the negative side of it.
His first at bat, he gets a 12-minute standing ovation and stands there crying, and then he's got to go up and hit. I mean, that's what's going to happen. That's absolutely what's going to happen.
That's true.
I love Freddie tonight, honestly, but I like Goldie as a one-off better.
Okay, great. DY says, DKGPP, Carty, do you see pitching or hitting prevailing in the Astros-Yankees game?
I mean, the probabilistic answer is it's, neither's going to do exceptionally well.
Yeah.
But I'm still fine taking shots on guys like Judge, Alvarez and GPPs. So
is it crazy to play one of the pitchers there and also a bat against him like Verlander and Judge and think,
you
don't
need to do that tonight.
Not on a slate like tonight. Okay. Falcor, FanDuel, high dollar single entry, Nola or Springs. Cheese, I think those are kind of the two guys.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
those are the two. There's not even an answer because it's such a different build around it. If I just had one lineup, period, it would have Nola. Okay. But those are your two answers.
Yeah. FanDuel GPP, Cheese, you want Raleigh or Dozier?
Dozier.
FanDuel GPP, Carty, last in, Alec Thomas or Kepler?
I'll take Kepler.
D-Dot, FanDuel single entry, Lux or Muncie?
Muncie.
Steve O says, is it just me or does anybody else hate when a game you want to watch is on Apple TV Plus? Cheese, does that bother you?
I wouldn't even know. I've never been like, I got to watch this game. Oh, what is Apple TV Plus? I don't. I'm not from the future. I don't really even understand the question. I know what Apple is.
It's Apple's streaming service, I assume, which they're trying to get people to get on board with by having exclusive MLB games there.
Yes,
so it's kind of annoying.
Yes, I hate it.
Yeah, I hate it. That hasn't happened to me with baseball because I don't really care about baseball. No offense, but that does annoy me in other sports when things like that happen. Cheese, in a KC stack, are you comfortable with cheap outfielders like Taylor and Olivares, or would you stick with dusty ass vets, quoting here, like Witt and Benintendi?
Michael Taylor is a dusty ass non-vet. I like Olivares. And if you're playing Olivares, I guess play Taylor too and just go with the bottom of the order stack.
Okay.
Yes, I'm fine with that.
Okay. DK GPP card, do you want Belly or Ward?
I mean, Ward's the better play. He'll be higher owned. So it depends on the rest of your lineup. Okay. But I like Bellinger too.
That's fair. Bates, FanDuel Cash, Freeman, Simeon, or Devers and Will Smith?
One more time for me.
Yeah, it was Freeman, Simeon. This is FanDuel Cash, or Devers, Will Smith.
Devers, Smith.
Excellent. FanDuel Cash here, Dozier or Calhoun, Carty, straight up.
They're both good. I probably take Dozier, but they're both good.
All right. DK Tournament, Cheese, any love for Schwarbs?
I kind of like the Phillies a little bit. I don't think I would be playing Schwarber or Harper on their own. But okay. in a stack or mini stack, yes.
Okay. A couple questions that I like here. Eric says, thoughts on the Brewers? Cheese, thanks.
They missed my cut today.
Okay.
The bat thinks they're very viable.
Okay, great. Good stuff. Yak Face, this is my favorite question today. Is Ashcroft a jabroni? I'm thinking about a giant stack. Is Ashcroft a jabroni? Gentlemen, discuss.
He's not a total jabroni, and this game is in San Francisco, and I haven't looked at the weather there, but I assume it's very cold where everywhere else is really hot. Yeah, it's 57 cold. Degrees, and everywhere else is like 90. I would not do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't think he's a jabroni. Like, I think he's the ground balls are real enough that I can't call him a jabroni.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. We're basically at lock. I'm seeing if there's anything I can grab real quick here. Nathan says, Cheese, you want Nola with Kepler and C. Walker or Springs with Trout and Simeon?
I like the first one with Nola.
Hammer with the Captain Obvious play of the day says, The Rock used to say that. You're a jabroni. We know. Yeah. No, we know.
So whoever said that probably wasn't reading my nonsense. Several years ago when I first heard that word and I had no idea where it was or where it came from. And for like a month, like every article, I used that word like 9 times, and it changed my life, and my life has still been changed to this day. I'll never forget the day I heard that word for the first time, and then dug around and figured out where it came from. Like at a time of my life.
Doug, by the way, on YouTube says, I believe it was Iron Sheik who said it first. I was
right, and The Rock has admitted to finding it from the Iron Sheik.
Here's the thing: okay. If you guys are not familiar with the Iron Sheik's Twitter account, go down the rabbit hole for yes. the rest of the day because you will find it entertaining.
I have seen that. I thought that the jabroni was a Rock thing alone, and only that. Obviously, he made it. He made it what it is today. But that's good to know. Hey guys, we hit the lock. I thought you both did an excellent job on a slate where it wasn't easy to put.
I mean, we did an excellent job, but you also didn't see my lineups. Then you'd be like, you did a terrible job.
Yeah, never mind. You did not do an excellent job. DKGPP says, at the buzzer, 3v3 with a 5-man Texas. Cheese, I'm throwing this on you here. Adolis Garcia, Kirilloff, and Winker, or Calhoun, Kepler, and Riley Green?
I think for me, Adolis Garcia is the guy I need in that Texas stack, so I would go that way.
Okay, great. Seeing if there's anything. Frank says, hey, good stuff, guys. If there was a DFS Hall of Fame, is there not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Shouldn't there be?
Yes, because I like this comment.
Yes. Yeah. Let me finish the comment. If there was a DFS Hall of Fame, Cheese and Carty would be the first 2 inducted. No arguments there. You both would belong in the hall. There is a fantasy sports Hall of Fame, right?
The NFBC has their own Hall of Fame.
I think the FSGA has
and then
one.
Is it the FSGA or the FSWA?
I'm not even.
Yeah, one of those has one, the trade association. Yes.
Cheese, may I ask, are you in a Hall of Fame? And if so, how many are you in?
I'm in one.
He's got
I'm in the least known Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, then that to me is the smartest Hall of Fame. So that is the one that I go by from this moment henceforth. That is the Hall of Fame that matters. The one smart enough to have you in it. Let's see what else we got. Thoughts on Cobb? By the way, just a lot of people saying, hey, great show all in all. So thank you to everybody saying that. Thoughts on Cobb, guys?
He's only made one start back from the IL. He's only going to throw like 75 pitches. He's basically unusable.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. Okay. With that, guys, we've caught up on. Yeah, This is a good question. Let's end it on this one, actually, if you don't mind. Jay Sam says, Cheese, are we at a point, and Carty, you can chime in because this is something that I know you're actively doing here. Are we at a point where we can use the 2022 numbers for bullpens, or should we still combine 21, 22?
You're never at a point where you can only look at one season of numbers. Like literally never.
For bullpens specifically, if you still look at the individual numbers, like there's still so many guys that have just 9 innings here and 12 innings there. And
if you're talking about looking at like this year's Yankees bullpen number and last year's,
and I think that's what the comment is referencing.
That's bad too, because it's different guys in the bullpen. Like it's not the same. You want to look at the individual player, the individual relievers in the bullpen on any given day, how often they get used and how good they each are. That's how you evaluate a bullpen. If you're just looking at overall bullpen numbers, you're missing a lot.
If you're looking at it though, be sure Fangraphs has a button you can click that says active roster that you can combine the last couple of years, click active roster, and it will just give you this year. So you don't run into that problem of the different guys in the bullpen. So that's what I use when I'm looking at it.
Okay. Well, good way to end the show. I think a really good show and a great ending to it. So let's call it right there for Cheese, for Carty, and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.